Wagwan, everyone. I hope you're doing well and welcome back to Tariq Talks. Those of you watching here and those of you that are watching on Klopp Talk TV and Ends Man TV as well. Guys, we've got plenty of things to talk about from the Arsenal and Liverpool point of view. And guess what, people? We do have Arsenal and Liverpool fans, so it will be interesting. There's so much to talk about, as that was one of the best games of the season. So big up to each and every one of you that is watching right now. If you're watching afterwards, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to all of our channels. We've got me over at Tariq Talks, Klopp Talk TV with Aled over here. He'll be coming soon as well. And we got Ends Man TV. And don't forget, we got plenty of other guests as well, and that we'll be chopping it up with. And let's bring in our guests. We'll bring in the Liverpool man them that we've got here first. We've got my brother Hugo the Savage. Go subscribe to him at Hugo Online. How you doing, my bro?
You know the vibes, bro. I'm in good spirits, bro. You get me? Chilling, man. Yeah,
exactly.
man.
It's nice to have a familiar voice on the channel as well. We don't
I
really.
I know. It took too long, innit, man? But it's good to be here, bro.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for joining me.
You're always chopping it up and putting some good work in and that, man. So yeah, this won't be the last time, man. You know what I mean? I always forget that we don't have to be on videos together when it's Arsenal Liverpool. It can be any time, innit? But you know what I mean?
Yeah. We watch enough football. We watch enough sport in general. Even the things outside, man. We got, there's plenty of things that we can talk about.
Loads, bro. There's loads, bro.
And speaking of the outside, we got the man himself, Ends in the building. How you doing, my bro?
You're muted, bro.
Oh, he's on mute. He's made a rookie mistake.
I had it. Sorry, my bad. Let's do that again. My bad. Yeah. Appreciate the invite as always, bro. On Arsenal, just to throw that one in there from now. Listen, I appreciate it, man. Big up to yourself, man. Great stuff. Let's go, man. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready,
appreciate
bro.
you for jumping on now. I'm looking forward to it. We did a preview on Enz's channel. If those of you, I recommend you go look at it back, even just look at little bits, see how we've talked about the game. We got loads of things right. I will say that we did talk about it. We all did, all of the people that were on the channel. We also got some things that we're not perfect, but I thought we did a very good job on there. So go check it out, people. So these are the Liverpool man. We're still waiting on Aled. He will be here soon. So those of you that are watching on Klopp Talk TV, don't worry, you will see your man here. And then we've also got from the Arsenal side, he came on last night as we did the match reaction. So it's been a while. How you doing, my bro, Brad?
Your resident American is back. I am here. I've carved out some time, as I was telling the boys before the show started. I was in a work meeting on Google Meets, and I just said, "Yo, I gotta go," and just dipped. So we are here.
Exactly. Hey, this is more important than a work meeting. It's definitely more enjoyable. We can say that
100%.
To talk about. There's plenty. And the final one that we've got, guys, you know who he is. It's the Don of South London himself. He goes by the name of Wilf on Tariq Talks. How you doing, my bro?
I'm good, man. I'm really, really good. Good to be on with you boys. You know what I mean? Hugo.
Come on.
First time meeting you. Ends, man.
Big up, brother.
Yes, love that.
You already know.
My boy Brad looking sharp as anything, bro. I'm liking it.
But yeah, he said, Brad, if you don't mind me sharing, he's got some exams after this, but I don't know, as Wilf was mentioning backstage, that might be a cover up for a date. Yeah.
AKA 8 settings.
Exactly. Hey, who knows, man? Hey, Brad, you don't need to share that part of the screen if you don't need to. That's fine, man. That's fine. He's looking sharp anyway with his slick back hair, but it's nice to see.
It's good thing we ain't got smell-o-vision, because the perfume would be
the aftershave and that. Yeah,
the aftershave, the clothes.
It's true. But big up to everyone that is watching live right now. Big up yourself, Ravi, in the place. Hope you're keeping good. Says, well, go on, lads. TJ Warren TV, like button obliterated. That's what we like to see.
Big up TJ.
Right there. Wilf is also in the chat here as well. Big up, man. Fraser Football in the place. Hope you're keeping good. Was at the game yesterday. Get your thoughts in the chat. Definitely need to hear about.
You definitely got your money's worth for a match, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Definitely. So let me know what the atmosphere and what the game was saying from where you were seeing it. And that goes for everyone in here as well. Big up yourself, Redbird in the place. Ed, hope you're keeping well, bro. Says big up T and the panel. Big up the Americans, says TJ Warren. He's with you there, Brad. So you got another American here. Big up John in here as well. Hope you're keeping good. And Ash, make sure you logged out of that Zoom meeting. Hey, it's true that you don't make sure they haven't heard that there, Brad. You might be self-snitching on yourself. I think
that comment made me close all of my tabs just because you never know.
Exactly. If Brad suddenly dips out of the stream, we know the reason why. Okay. But let's get into it. Let's get started. First of all, guys, because there's going to be plenty to talk about, plenty to debate, I'm sure, with different opinions. But one thing that we can certainly all agree on, this is one of the games of the season. Am I right? And it's,
if not the game of the season.
Yeah, exactly. This, we've watched you guys in Liverpool as Arsenal fans come up against Manchester City and provide the 2-2 thrillers in that aspect. And I'm just happy that we're a part of it this time. Not my heart wasn't happy, my health, that wasn't happy about feeling that stress and the pain and the joy and the sadness and all the emotions. But hey, the neutrals had to enjoy that. But overall, I will start with you as well, Hugo, on your debut on the channel. How did you feel watching that?
I was very disappointed in my team in the first bit of the game because it kind of doesn't matter what tactics your manager puts out or whatever anyone else does. Once you get on the pitch, you don't start a football match like that, man. And it's been a big talking point with our squad for the last year and a half, even with the going for the quad. The last part of last season was starting games and conceding a goal straight away. And I said in the preview as well to you that the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes of the game and the halftime, so important for us. And conceding that early, I was like, okay, I can deal with it because from your side, Martinelli done really well and Saka done really well. From our side, it's just calamitous defending and all these mad mistakes and some accidents within there. So I'm like, listen, brush that off. It's so early in the game. Let's just get on with it now because we need to score anyway. Either way, we'd have to score. And then there was more bad defending for the second goal and I was just disappointed. But then I was proud of my team the second half, very proud. I thought we played really good football from that part on. And you guys were very resilient. I think, obviously, it's easier for me to say that because I did believe that from, I'd say about the 40th minute, we were the better team. But I think a lot of us will always take into account the team that's doing the most attacking. That means they've been the better team. But you have to take into account your defending was pretty good as well. It was very good, in fact. So, yeah, man, it was an even game in that term. And I think 2-2 probably the right result, even though we had so many chances towards the end. And so did you. You had a couple of chances there at the end as well. I agree, man. Game of the season so far. It seems that the game of the season's always end 2-2, bro. It's always like that with Austin City every season. Also, for the neutral, I bet they enjoyed it loads. I enjoyed it because there was actually less pressure on me watching that game because we've been so bad. And for me, top four, I'm always the most optimistic Liverpool fan, but the fact that Newcastle and that's doing so great, top four's kind of over. So it was no pressure apart from I just want to win the game. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I think you're right there in your assessment. Enns, I spoke to you after the game on your channel. You felt that Liverpool were unlucky. And I'll be honest, man, I watched it back and took the emotion out of it. At the time, I was saying, I agree with Hugo in terms of the chances that we had and how the game could have changed in so many different moments. But boy, that second half, it was a tale of two halves. And watching it back, the pressure did tell in the end when you guys grabbed the equalizer. But what was your thoughts on the game on the tale of two halves?
Listen, I went through every emotion I could possibly do, and I've tried to detach myself from Liverpool this season because there's no point in me getting wound up because we're not playing well, and we've kind of showed ourselves in some games, and we played well in some halves, and other halves we haven't. But in terms of the Arsenal game, apart from the first 20 to half an hour, the first half, I thought we once we settled in and we got that goal, it was just us. And I felt like it was a 3 points drop massively for us because it could have been a 3 points in the right direction. Even though we haven't got nothing to really play for, and I don't think we'll get into the top four. I think in the first 20 minutes, your Martinellis and your Sakas was doing well. But after that, in my opinion, honestly, I think they went missing. Probably not so Martinelli as much, but Odegaard, in my opinion, I don't think he kind of showed up in that game. Saka, you guys already know he kind of went missing after the first 20 minutes, half an hour. And I think we just took a foothold in the game. I think a lot of people started understanding why Anfield is such a big place when you go and play us there. And I just think we're so unlucky with our chances. And I get you guys had chances as well, but I think ours were a bit more. Look, you could say your point blank header, you could have probably done better with that one, Gabriel, but we missed the penalty, and I'm certainly a couple of tap-ins, to be fair. You know, Konate should have won the game at the end. You know, Robbo should have scored in that first half when he went clean through. Nunes should have scored as well, went clean through. Some would say good goalkeeping, but for me, I think that's a missed 3 points for us, man. But, you know, look, Arsenal are doing well. Keep up what you guys are doing. But listen, it's tough when you're going head-to-head with Man City. You need to win every game going into the back end, and I feel this one might affect Arsenal. I'm not saying it's going to probably stop you from winning the title, but look, they've got their tails up now. If they win their game in hand, they're only 3 points behind. You still got to play them, so... I mean, but it was a good game overall. 2-2, you know, some will say a fair result. But for me, I think we should have definitely won that game and walked away with 3 points.
Wilf, I'll throw that over to you. You heard what Enz has had to say, and Hugo. What would you say in response to that and your feelings on the game? You're on mute at the moment before you carry on.
Yeah, I agree with that, but in the reverse, because I think we should have had that game outside in the first half.
Yeah.
And that was a time. Like I remember putting in the chat and stuff, we needed that third goal. Any other team, 2 goals would have been enough. We needed that third goal. We got that third goal. They killed it off. You knew that come half time, and any man that says Klopp should be going is a madman, should be locked away in a straitjacket and thing. That brother would have gone in there and said, "Who are you? Yeah, this is the same team, the same bunch of players that went for the quadruple. Let's show them. We're at Anfield now. Them crowd out there need you to show up. And you need to show who you are, who Liverpool is. This is Anfield. People don't come to our yard and chuck it." And that's how they came out. Yeah. So that's why we need that to the third goal. But that said, I didn't expect any different from the second half from Liverpool to come at us. And I hear what the tap-ins and whatever, and from that perspective, that makes sense. But I think we have a goalkeeper in now that has an aura, or getting to have an aura as big as Alisson, Edison, De Gea. So when a man is bearing down on goal, he's not just seeing a yellow, red, green, whatever jersey. He's seeing the big name, the big highlighted name. Like Schmeichel was one of them. Yeah. When a player was going through, all of a sudden Schmeichel is a foot taller and a 2 foot wider, and they see his name rather than they see a goalkeeper. And that's when it makes people overthink. Ramsdale has proven now beyond any shadow of a doubt, he's a top-class goalkeeper. We bought him for a snip. The brother is 24 years old and he's shocking out like that. Please, you know, Pickford ain't long for that England jersey. But I think this game will affect us by making us go, you know what? We missed the trick that game. Let's go and rip every other team a new one from here to the end of the season. That's, I think, the mentality that this team will come out of this game with, because they're going to be hurting. Because I know I was at full-time whistle. It felt like a loss, and to have a draw at Anfield and it feel like a loss shows just how far we have come in the last 2 seasons. And I'm proud of my side. I thought it was a great performance. 2 totally different halves, and it showed the first half showed we can go at teams, we can go at anybody, whoever they are, be it Man City, be it Liverpool, whoever. Second half shows that we're up for a fight. You want to come, we'll fight you, and we'll every man will step up, every man will do his job, and we will fight to the. If you're going to beat us, you got to have the best game of your season. Yeah, if you're going to beat us, that's how you got to play. And I think Man City would have looked at that game and thought, this is a different animal. This is a different Arsenal. This ain't no Arsenal that is going to collapse. Because remember, Pep knows Arteta. Yeah, just as Arteta knows him. I think they're going to go, boys, we're in so much pressure now. We have to win every game because they're not going to drop any more points. That was their chance to drop points. And with them fighting on all fronts, I think we can still do it.
Brad, before we throw it, and then he said, "Oh, it's open season for everyone to jump in. Then feel free." I just want to hear how you felt after the game as well. How the game ended, and because the emotions I felt at the time, it was very mixed. I wasn't sure whether to feel happy, that I was satisfied that we got the point, disappointed from being 2-0 up, and with all the different scenarios that the game threw at you. How do you now feel post about 24 hours after the game?
Looking back at it, I feel it sucks. Like emotionally, it sucks. But if I'm like actually using my head, like a 2-2 draw at Anfield, not many people would scoff at that. It's just the way that it happened, being up 2-0 and then going back to 2-2. It just hurt more than anything. But overall, I'm still feeling pretty good about it. Is what it is.
I understand. I hear that. And throw back to Liverpool, Mandem. Those first 20, 30, 40 minutes or so, boy, that was, for me, and as an Arsenal side, it was amazing to see. And there were so many star performers out there in that moment who were really taking the game and was passing the ball, breaking it through the lines. And Liverpool didn't really know how to break through our press either. But from your perspective, what was going wrong? Was you looking at Klopp in terms of how he set the team up, or was you looking at individuals?
Individuals for me. I thought, I'll be 100% honest, bro. This is not disrespectful to Arsenal at all, man. I told you I actually liked the team in it. I don't think he was that good in the first half, but that's not me saying he was bad. I'm saying he didn't need to be good to get through Liverpool in the first half. Like we were terrible, man. Like I don't know. It's like when you attacked us and that, and it was worse because the crowd was flat as well. It felt like one of them FA Cup games, like you was playing against Oxford or someone, where like the goal goes in, you can't really hear anyone, and it's just like, oh, okay, this is over. Like it felt like it was going to get destroyed for that bit of the game. It was individual mistakes though, so I don't think we were completely terrible because within that time we had still chances to score. You lot are always very organised. I said to Tariq in the preview that the worry I've always had is because I watch Arsenal quite a lot. They start the game so quick. So I was saying, that's what I said, the first 10 minutes, you can't forget anything, just don't let them score. And as soon as the confidence starts building, I think Arteta's just got this way of like, go score. And if we have to win by 1 goal, we will, because we're confident in the rest of our team and our back four and our goalkeeper that will defend and we can keep the ball well. And you did do that, to be fair. But I was just disappointed in the way we played, man. I think if we played the way we can play, forget the way we played in the second half. And I think the first half would have been a lot more even. Probably would have went in there 0-0 at least, because even though the goals were great, no, like Jesus in between Robbo and Virgil should never be scoring that header. There's only one place Martinelli can put the ball, and he does. It's a great cross, by the way. And then the other goal is a bit meaty from our point of view, bro. It's like, damn, man chasing Saka down and that, bro. And then you let Martinelli get in, and he's very smart though, because loads of people would have just got scared and fumbled that. But that little toe poke right at the end, when you watch the replay, you see how close Robbo was to kicking it away, and how close Ali was at getting the ball. Yeah, man, I'll give you just using that first half, to be fair. Arteta's a smart manager, though. He's very smart, man. And I think the thing for you guys going forward is, I think what Will said's fine. He can affect you and go, you know what, we're going to step up the gear now and just go up, need to do what we end of the season. But it feels like I've seen this before, but you still might win the league. But from our point of view, that game felt like, I remember there's a 2-2 game last season, what we had with Chelsea. And we started the game how you started. We just blew them away, quick time, Salah. And then it was like, we're going to smoke these about 4-0. And then Kovacic scored and we just crumbled, bro. And then we was hanging on. And I know at the time it didn't feel like it, but we did lose the league by 1 point. So it did make a difference in the end. And just looking at the reaction of some of your players on the bench, it depends on the emotions. And I think Arteta's smart enough to just get you over the line, to be fair. But watching Zinchenko and stuff, it just gave me flashbacks of Liverpool players when we played against Crystal Palace that season, 2014, and we threw the game away and it ended up 3-3.
Yeah,
Yeah, because everyone to this day still thinks that Chelsea and Gerrard Slip is what lost us the league.
Yeah.
I hope everyone realizes the Chelsea game came before that Crystal Palace game. So we wanted to just win that game, still would have won the league. So, but yeah, disappointed. And seeing what we could do in the second half just shows how disappointed I would have been in the first half in my team, because I know we've still got it, man. You know what I mean? Our team's not perfect anymore. Everyone's getting a bit more tired, a little bit older and stuff. But we've done this too many times this season. You know what I mean? We've had a great second half against Tuesday, punched up Manchester United, had a great game at Anfield against Man City, beat them, punched up Tottenham. So we've still beat the big teams, but it happens, innit? It happens.
This is why the social media backlash has really peed me off, because people are expecting Liverpool to just roll over. They don't do that. They don't do that. Liverpool don't roll over. You know what I mean? We weren't going against the... And because you've been Jekyll and Hyde all season, everybody just thinks, oh, you're rubbish. You're not a rubbish team. You're just going through a bad period. And it negates and is disingenuous and disrespectful to the teams that you beat and to the teams that beat you. Because everybody talking about us bottling it and this, that, and the other, the game is like, we weren't playing a pub team. We weren't playing, my boys under 12s. This is a team that is going for stuff for the last, who have been challenging Man City for the last 5 years. They were going to have a game plan. We all saw it. That first half was not Liverpool. So they were going to change things up. They were going to try and nullify what we were doing, and they were going to come back at us, and they did it well.
Even this season, let's not forget, this is the Liverpool team that have beaten one of the best teams in Europe in whatever you think of in Napoli. And we know what happened in the away leg, in the away tie, but at the home one, beating Napoli, beating Manchester City, only lost to Leeds and Real Madrid. Even in Leeds, it was in the final minute there. And then the context surrounding the Real Madrid game, 2-0 up, could have been more at that stage as well. But Real Madrid literally took their moments. That's the difference. And the scoreline flattered them, I thought, even at the time. Just before we throw it over to Ends and then throw it over to everyone else. And big up my bro Aled over on Clock Talk TV.
Big up, bro.
Big up, man.
Good to see you again, man.
No, likewise, guys. Thanks, obviously, for having me, and apologies I'm late, but big up to you guys talking sense as always, talking some good stuff, and pleasure to be involved, man.
Hey, just like your team, they turned up a bit late, but they got the result in the end. So
hey, that's what we do. Just going along with the trend, isn't it?
How do you feel? Like 24 hours plus after the game, Alid?
Oh, well, it's a bit of mixed emotions, really, and I think you could probably say the same from an Arsenal perspective as well. I think we were incredibly lucky to get a point based on the fact how poor we were in the first half. But then also we had points in the game where we could have turned it up a notch and could have gone on and win the game. So a few little things, but at the same time, I didn't lose any sleep on that game, because I don't think it'll have any major significance on our season, to be honest with you. I just think we're way off it at the moment. But I do think it could have more of a significance on your guys and your season. But to be fair to you, it was all right. A bit of mixed emotions, but I think at the end of the day, I think we were lucky, kind of blessings really. How we fought back into the game against the best side away from home in the league this season, I think is something that we have to kind of just roll with the storm pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll throw it back over to you now. I wanted to ask you in terms, I want to ask everyone this, because whether it's good or bad, whatever you thought about this person in this game, but I want to hear you talk about a Liverpool player that you want to speak about, whether it's a good or bad in this one, and an Arsenal player. So whilst Ends is going to have, I'm throwing it in first. He's going to get the ball rolling. I want everyone to think of a Liverpool and Arsenal player that they want to speak about from a good or a bad sense of view.
For the Liverpool side, I would probably say Trent. So just to touch on what Hugo said about obviously in the first half, you guys weren't that good. I just think we were trying to get used to what Klopp tried. So he was tactically astute in this game. He moved Trent as a more of an inverted, like you guys would do with Zinchenko, as like a midfielder inverted fullback, and then allow the other midfielder Henderson to kind of cover him down that side. So I think in that first 20 minutes, half an hour, they were trying to get used to that setup. And I think players were like, oh, we don't know where to go. And Trent was trying to get used to where he needed to be. But after that, once obviously you guys got your goals and we kind of settled down and Trent got the crowd going and he got himself going, I think after that you kind of saw, and I normally knock Klopp, hands up for this one. I normally knock him for his tactical knowledge in terms of how he sets up tactically for managers. But this game, he actually done it well. And I think in the second half, everyone clicked and go, okay, cool, I understand where I need to be. And that's why you start seeing us dominate the ball. And we look like we outnumbered you in midfield at times, which was kind of weird because I expected Arsenal to do that to us. I thought the Zinchenko thing, when he drops into the midfield and kind of dominate the ball, I thought we were going to be the ones, looking outnumbered. But it was you guys that kind of looked outnumbered in say, the last 20 minutes and then the rest of the second half. In terms of an Arsenal standpoint, the player on a bad point, I'd probably say Odegaard. I was looking forward to seeing him play because I like the number 10. I like how he's very creative. I like how he's silky on the ball. I like how he just, whatever comes to his mind, he'll just try. If it's like a reverse through ball or over the top note, whatever it may be, the way his imagination is on the pitch, I really love how he plays. But I think he disappointed me. He was disappointing in the game. I think apart from the one pass he did with it was like a half volley out to Martinelli on the left hand side. Other than that, I can't remember really seeing anything he did in the game. And I think the substitution made sense because he was nowhere to be found, like on the defensive side of the game and also on the attacking side of the game. So, I was disappointed with him mostly, but. Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing him play, but he decided.
That pass to Martinelli though was cold.
Yeah, it was cold. It was cold.
It was crazy. But I think it's a good point on Odegaard because in my initial match reaction, right, when I saw it, I was like, when I was going at Arteta for the substitution. But when I watched the game again, he is the reason why we're so good in the first half when he was getting the space, spraying it out to Saka. And I said in the preview to you, and I said it to you and Cav as well, if you can pin Odegaard and you can try and stop Odegaard, you will also limit how much effect Saka can have on the game. Yeah. And I thought that's what happened. But when we had that space in that first 30 minutes and Odegaard was able to start playing it into Partey, switching it from right to left, that's when I thought Liverpool, they were at 6s and 7s. And it's hard. No, I'm sorry, no team can deal with Arsenal when we're moving like that. That's how fluid it is on how our movements and rotations are. But then in the second half, we couldn't. He couldn't get into the game at all. Defensively, there was no connections in there from when we was trying to get the ball out. Whenever Liverpool were pressing us, we couldn't get him to get that ball and make that second pass. If we make that second pass, because of how Liverpool press, they've done it even when they're at their prime best. When you make that second pass, then it's danger. That's when the danger's on. But Liverpool are so good at getting that resurgence in transition with Fabinho covering well. Thought he had a brilliant second half too. And this is it at Anfield. You're seeing the Fabinho of old. It's when it's away from home, when the game, the intensity it shows, and when the smaller teams come to town, where the motivation levels aren't as high. But yeah, and the same also goes for me in terms of Xhaka in that area. Our 2-8s couldn't connect in that second half, and that's why the onslaught felt like it was coming. Pinning the ball to Jesus, he wasn't able to hold it well because he had Konate and Van Dijk, and those. I think that's a good point that you've raised there.
I didn't have a problem with Odegaard coming off. I actually thought that was a good substitution, which is going to annoy Moss, and it's mad that I'm saying that, but I actually think that was a good substitution.
Yeah, Brad, what about you? The Arsenal and Liverpool player that you want to speak about, as En spoke about Trent and Odegaard. What about you?
I just want to real quick say thank you to everybody for letting me be here. This is the last thing I have to say because I have an exam to take, as I said earlier.
Big up, bro.
All the best.
Good luck for the exam, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. But I kind of wanted to touch on Trent too a little bit. Like, the genius of targeting Xhaka to get the crowd going. I mean, that was so smart because kind of to deflect from the date allegations. I watched soccer games now with my girlfriend, and she was just hearing me yell and like Xhaka, run away. Like, what are you doing? And I just thought that was just absolutely genius by Trent. I don't know if he got instructed to do that or if he just did that on his own, but yeah, that was a very smart move by him. And yeah, that incredible.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then the Arsenal player I want to talk about is Martinelli, because he's been getting a lot of stick online. And this is the man who had a goal and an assist. Like that first goal, like picking that off of Van Dijk like that, and then like just tapping it past arguably the best goalkeeper in the world right now. I mean, that was incredible. I don't think that's getting talked about nearly enough. And then the perfect ball to Jesus to head it in, like he has been incredible this season. And I think Arsenal fans, along with rival fans, just discredit his output this season because everybody wants to talk about Jesus, Trossard, or Saka. And yeah, everybody now they're talking about that one missed pass to Saka, but that was the 94th minute he played all game. Like, you got to give him some credit. And he's like the same age as me, so like he's young. So I just think everybody needs to just back off him a little bit, give him a few more years. Like next year, he'll definitely be making those passes. He just needs to get the passing a little bit more fine, but everything else about his game, I just love the guy.
Yeah, totally agree with you in that sense. So when it's Martinelli, like, boy, from the very first action of the game, can you remember there was that free kick that he played quickly out to Trent? And out on Trent's side, and he took it down the line and that byline run that he made, and the ball squirmed into the Liverpool box, but they got it cleared. That was a statement of intent from there. Trent, I'm on you. And Konate was the one who was going out. He was like, no, Trent, we can't leave this man 1v1. But I thought even in the first half, he had the best of even Konate and Trent, and that's when Konate went out, and that's when it leaves the space, and Van Dijk should do better with that Jesus goal. But yeah, man, what a performance he had in those opening minutes. And
I can't believe people are talking rubbish about Martinelli. That's crazy, bro. Not with the season.
Everywhere.
That's some of our fan base, bro. That's some of our fan base.
Is it how he played, or were they talking about his diving?
Nah,
to be honest, you know what? Whether it's diving, whatever, I just think
it's incredibly
people have to have an agenda. Yeah, it's people have to have an agenda.
Man was exhausted.
Someone needs to be a scapegoat on someone.
It's mental.
Yeah.
So tells you a lot about people, though, that a lot of the fans are couch. You know, what do you call them? Armchair fans.
Couch coaches.
Couch
coaches.
That's what they are. Like, come on. Yes, we see it from the angle that we're at, and yes, we're thinking from fresh legs. But in that scenario where we've just had a last gas save, which should have been a goal from Konate.
I'm guessing he covered more ground than any of you players.
Oh, of course he did. 100%.
Nah, man, he was everywhere. He was everywhere.
Hugo, what about you, man? In terms of a Liverpool and Arsenal player that stood out or didn't stand out?
For Liverpool, I'm going to choose Henderson.
Okay.
I don't know. Nah, man, because I had to dissect it myself, bro. You see what I was doing yesterday in the player ratings and that, because he keeps getting disrespected. You know, when he's not playing well, he deserves to be disrespected, doesn't it? But, well, not disrespected, but he deserves to have the criticism. But going in there with agendas and not seeing what he was doing in the game, especially the second half, bro, like he done something where he was the facilitator for Trent and Salah in that hole every time. So if one of them goes, he covers that spot. And he was the link up just between them two, because the left side was covered with what Thiago was doing. Once he came on, he started doing his thing. And sometimes they're like the most basic of passes. But anyone who watches Liverpool knows that we never overlap and stuff like that, bro, ever. Not on the right side. Trent never gets to the byline. Salah never gets to the byline. It's very obvious what's going to happen. You know what I mean? We're quite predictable in that. That's why, like, Ramsdale's saves were great. But, like, there's a reason I knew what he was going to do, because if you watch earlier in the game, he made the exact same save, but he didn't have a deflection the first one, and I mean the exact same save. So that's why he didn't just dive; he shuffled his legs first, because Salah's going to try bending in the top corner. Great save though, but I loved what he was doing, man, and just nicking the ball off some of the Arsenal players, because he was playing the ball into Salah's feet, and the ball's bouncing off Salah's shins, but it wasn't sticking, which means he lost the ball every time. The way we won the ball back was him every time. And then we just started recycling it. And sometimes he's not going to play the ball, a through ball. He's not going to play the most techie ball over the top. But just getting it and recycling it means that we kept the ball a lot. And that's why our possession was so good in the second half. Your player, I'll pick Saka, because he's probably my favourite Arsenal player apart from Odegaard. And I spoke about it in the preview to you. And I could just see it a mile off, bro. I watch you so much. And him and Martinelli's improved since last season. Saka's definitely improved in terms of he's quite strong. He's quite strong in it, but his football's strong, but he's not like Sunday League strong. So if you get into it, you can frustrate him pretty fast. Where he's like such a down to earth, humble player. He never really shouts and stuff like that at the ref. But I saw as soon as Robbo and that tried to start to like, some of them were like fair tackles, but really hard for no reason. And then getting mad at the ref and that. I'm like, yeah, Saka's. I know what's going to happen now. And I didn't see him again for a while, bro. And that's why it just looked like Martinelli was dying, because everything was go down this side, which obviously would have been a game plan from any team in the league anyway, go down Liverpool's right side. And I think in the first half, why Martinelli made us look bad is what En said, where we were trying to figure it out between Konate and Trent. How does Trent do this role? Then in the second half, it was almost like they're going to do it again, set the trap man. They're going to give the ball to Martinelli down this side. Every time Trent tucks in, Konate goes out, and then Trent covers Konate then, because he's more confident in Konate to tackle Martinelli. That's what we did. And then it just ended up being that Saka was just non-existent. And if you watch, one point it looked like Virgil was at left back because Robbo just went up the field and Saka wasn't there. He wasn't there at all. When Saka done that turn on Trent and Konate, great turn by the way, he was in Martinelli's spot. He wasn't on his side of the pitch. That's why when he turned him and passed it, there was no one to pass it to. I know you said after that, I think it was like Odegaard or someone, but if Martinelli done that, it's a tap in for Saka. I think it's not that there's something wrong with him all of a sudden, and it's not that all of a sudden he's terrible. It's just one of those games where once he got fired up, it doesn't fit Saka's game then. That's not the kind of player he is, and that. And fair play to him, he doesn't want to get involved in the dirty stuff and that. But sometimes you have to roll up your sleeves and go, yeah, fuck it. If you lot are going to be this hard on the tackles and that kicking us, we have to go through it, man. We saw that previous season with England when Chiellini and that were just dragging him up, and it's like everyone's getting mad, but you have to just fight back, bro. If the ref's not going to help you have to fight back. Yeah, and you're right. Ready for the fight, and what happens then is it feels like you've got 10 men, and if you feel like you got 10 men, and then we bring Thiago on, who's just going to keep recycling the passes. Yeah, that's what happens, man. But he's still a great player. You saw how good he was in the first half. I just think that he drowned him out a bit, and I think Arteta probably should have made that change, and it probably would have made a big difference, to be honest. I know it's hard to take off Saka when he's been, but just games, horses for courses, man. Sometimes it just don't work out. Take him off.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and that's why my issue was, before we throw over to you, Alid, my issue was looking at how we couldn't get the ball to him in dangerous positions. When he was getting the ball, it was when Robertson it was a straight pass to him where Robertson's able to get physical, put little knees and little elbows in the back and that. And Saka was holding up strong, but then losing the ball when players were crowding around him. Even Fabinho, booted him one.
So someone tried to say yesterday that wasn't a fault. Bro, he tried to kick Saka's leg off.
Exactly.
I know why he done it though. It's because Jesus made the run. I saw it straight away. Bro, that's what I want Fab to do. Like, no, I don't want him to hurt one of your players and that. But that's what Fernandinho's done for City. And that's what we've been getting mad at him. I've watched people score from that position because he's just gone, run past me. I needed him to kick him, bro. And when you do that, some man just don't want it, bro.
That's where we needed. For me, that's where we're Odegaard in the second half. I'm not sure what the reason was. I'm not sure if he was ill or something. I don't know, but he just wasn't at it on a level. And that's unfortunate because we know this guy is one of our players of the season. Could easily win Player of the Season for Arsenal or even the PFA at points. We needed him in that game there where where Robertson is doing a job on him in terms of kicking him and that and trying to do that. But we need the connectors. We lack that in the midfield. Alex, we'll go over to you. You're Liverpool and Arsenal player there, and then we'll throw it to you, Wilf.
One player. I just think the Trent stuff. I know a few people have touched on it already, but I just think in the second half he was adopting more of an inverted role. That midfield role, I think it was UNs that alluded to it as well. Henderson kind of was dropping it deeper to try and cover the space. I just think it's so frustrating now, and I think Gary Neville actually alluded to it as well. His defending is hurting his game, and I think it's got to the point now where he's becoming defensively inept to play at right back. That it's damaging him because you've seen, I think, Martinelli straight away. I think it was the free kick's first play or something like that, straight down his side, and it's just like you can tell it's so blatantly obvious, and you wouldn't obviously blame the opposition because they're just targeting the weakness in that back forwards Trent. But I don't know why, but he definitely needs to re-evolve his game. at right back, or definitely just move into midfield. I just want to see us experiment in there. And if it don't work, it don't work. But at the same time, I think he can definitely flourish in a position more advancing, which doesn't offer him that impetus of defending so significantly. Because in those big moments, we see him getting targeted, and it comes across really bad then when teams are utilising him as a blueprint to get past us. And look, it's not just him. There's players in there that have been so underwhelming, way off it at all. But I just think he's one focal point which gives other teams that license and that free card to go and attack us straight off the off. And I think that is something that's definitely concerning. One Liverpool player I quite liked yesterday, I think Ibu Konate in the second half in particular, I thought he was winning those individual battles. I think obviously on that side, I think he does complement Trent in a way. I think he's the better suited partner for him on that right-hand side of the back four. But at the same time, I don't think there was even wobbly moments from him. So look, in regards to Arsenal, I think the criticism that Martinelli's get is just unbelievable when you consider the player that he's obviously that Arsenal have galvanised upon in relation to what they can get from him going forward. But one player that I just think Ødegaard just had a little bit of an off day. But at the same time, I would have liked to. I'm glad he had an off day, but at the same time, he was definitely a player which I felt was a bit underwhelming for his standards. But at the same time, you had players in there that were just clinical. I thought Jesus was just phenomenal defensively as well. Like, he was doing his defensive work as well. He was important in transition, picking up the ball in the half space and threading it through. He was definitely everywhere as well. So he's definitely a player which I think definitely gets good ratings amongst a Liverpool fan looking at an Arsenal perspective. So yeah, definitely.
He's just cold, man.
Definitely.
Not a shock to me at all, man. I don't even understand why Man City fans didn't want him there, bro.
Yeah, it was crazy.
He's been cold the whole time.
He's a baller. Flat out, man.
Moments where, when he got Van Dijk on that yellow card in that first half, the little, you know what I mean? Just a little turn.
Yeah, Van Dijk gave up on that as well. I think
Tariq,
he was beat.
Jesus does this to us all the time, bro.
Yeah,
Whether it's Man City or Arsenal, he's been doing this, bro, off the bench.
That's why Pep always played him. That's why Pep always
in this game always played him against you.
Yeah, I don't blame him, bro. I remember Arteta was his coach, bro, so he knows, bro. Like, yeah, man, I coached you against Man City doing this with Arsenal and Liverpool and that, so it makes sense, man. But I think, yeah, he's cold, man. He's cold.
No, he's cold. He's serious. The way he got past Van Dijk as well, it was made it look so easy, and then Van Dijk just had to take him down. But I've never seen Van Dijk do that
in my life, bro. That's the first time I've ever seen Van Dijk kick someone like that.
Yeah, I've never seen him
try and like.
Yeah,
he literally didn't want it. He thought, I'll just take him down.
Yeah,
I'll take him down. It was quite mad. I've never seen that.
Yeah, for sure, man. I thought it was a special few moments he had there, and then with the Thiago, where them two, you could tell that those are the moments where there's games in games, and it, you know what I mean, because it's Thiago. I guarantee if that's Henderson, he doesn't do that, but because it's Thiago,
the no look pass made it look like he passed it and was having a conversation with someone else.
Yeah.
No way did he just do that.
What did he say?
Yeah. Pass looked effortless as well, bro. Like, it didn't look like he had much on it, but the ball traveled. I was like,
I gotta stop diving around though, bro, because it's gonna make me not like him, bro. I can't do that.
Bro, I've seen the chat. They've been going mad at that. But bro, this is what happens when you're away from home. Yeah, you man do the same thing. Let's not pretend.
Hold on a minute. No, I'm not co-signing none of that.
No, let's not pretend Jota don't throw himself to the ground at points away from home. Okay, so what about Gakpo? What about Gakpo in the box? Do you remember Gakpo?
Gakpo the other week, whoever played Man City or someone.
You got one. You're talking about one situation, bro. Salah don't, bro. Nah, man.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
That was a conversation. That's a conversation.
The narrative at the moment.
One Salah one in particular.
Bro.
There was a conversation about
if you're gonna try and get an advantage for a penalty, then all right. But this geezer just diving anywhere, bro.
Yeah, but bro, we had to try and win free kicks. I'm telling you, when you're in that scenario, you see all the time. You do see all the time away from home in the big games like this. That's what happens, guys. We've been watching football for years. These things, I'm saying. I've seen it happen enough times. For me, not for me, Jota's frustrated me so many times when he's rocked up at the Emirates, because he was, not for one, he will slap a goal in, but two, like he'll win a free kick, and I remember watching him at Wolves. I'm sure Ed's in the chat. He knows it. He says Jota was amazing at winning your free kicks away from home, and especially in that system where you are going to have to counter attack a bit. So, yeah, man.
Are you recording a documentary this season? I'm just asking. I'm being serious, bro.
There's rumors that we are.
I wish.
There's rumors.
I hope so.
Because you know that I told you this, bro.
We do usually like seasons where it's looking like it's going to be successful. Yeah, they do tend to. You'll
obviously have the regular like inside training, them kind of documentaries. Where, like, every team has it, but I said it last season because I knew you was going to be this good this season. You weren't even that bad last season, and when I watched All or Nothing, I was like, "Oh, the documentary's kind of cold still," but I feel like they've done it on the wrong season. Well, then corrected because
100%.
Season 2.
Season 2. Remember, because you was getting trolled. Everyone was calling you like nothing or nothing and that, bro.
Yeah. Hey, it's big. Hopefully that whether it's documentary or not, we'll get the big one by the end of it. But Wilf, before I give mine and to you players, because I know there's quite. No one's mentioned him yet from an Arsenal perspective. I wonder if you will, because Aaron Ramsdale maybe.
I spoke on Ramsdale earlier. Yeah, I spoke on Ramsdale earlier, right at the beginning. So. And just to mix it up, I'm going to pick someone else. But firstly, Liverpool player. There's actually two. I'm going to leave Trent because most men have touched on him. But I've been, from an outsider point of view, I've been personally offended by the treatment Trent has gotten this season about how he's a bad defender, this, that, and the other. I think he's been exposed a lot this season. Like, if you look back on games where people go, Trent this, Trent that, he's usually got 2-on-1, 2 players on him at the same time. And any other team, like when we played Crystal Palace, people was talking about Benny Blanco against Zaha. He had protection from Saliba. Trent has been exposed in if you look at every bad game that he's had 2 defenders on him, so he's like, well, I've got to go to one. If I leave one, the other one scores, and then I look bad, or I've got to commit myself to this challenge and whatever. And people talk about, he's doing this and he's doing that. He's been left standing on his own in so many games, and I think people are not looking at it. Everybody's kind of jumped on this Trent bandwagon. He's a bad defender. He ain't a bad defender. You know what I mean? He might not be the best in the world, but I'd take him any day. Over most man. So that's what I'm saying on Trent. Obviously, the one I'm going to pick out is Henderson. He's another man. If you're a football man, you know this man gets disrespected. Because he ain't glamorous, because he ain't Spanish, Brazilian, Italian, or
and he doesn't move with elegance like a Thiago.
all them kind of things, people don't realize how good a player he is. The last time you lost at Anfield, who was in that team? I mean, as in like the run that you've had, not the loss, but since then you don't lose at Anfield. One of the mans that's been there has been Henderson. You don't play in the midfield of that Liverpool team that's going for everything if you're crap. You don't get the nod for England and make a semi-final and a final of international competition if you are crap. So he was the one that I was afraid of, because his experience, his nous, his ability showed through in this game. And I really wanted us to take him out of the equation, but we didn't manage to. And props go to him. I'm big up. Respect to him, because I as a footballer, man, I think he gets so disrespected. And when he retires, and people might cuss me about this, but when he retires, he's going to be held in the same esteem as your Gerrards and your Lampards and whatever. When you look back on his record, I think so. I don't know. I don't care if nobody agrees with me. I think so. because he's a Geordie and everything, people don't, give him the strip. So he was the one. If there was one player that I would have liked to pull a hamstring before that game, it would have been Henderson. And he showed why I felt that. As for us, the man I'm going to hold up, because I talked to my boy Ramsdale already. Holding. Yeah? Rob Holding. Everybody looked at, he was the weak link, and when Saliba got injured and you know, I don't want to go to Anfield, I don't want to go to the Etihad, I don't want to go to this place, that place with Holdini in our back four. My man for me is a cult hero. I love that brother. The brother is a fighter, and he showed he's not like a Saliba where if you put him in a bad team, he'll be brilliant. But if you put him in a good team, he will do his thing. Yeah. I thought he held up his end perfectly yesterday and shut up everybody that had any word to say about him, about he ain't this, he ain't that, whatever. He is Arsenal through and through, and he showed it yesterday. He showed experience, he showed nous, he showed brilliant defending. He used his abilities to his strengths and limited his negativities. And he handled that centre back pairing so well. And I want everybody that has given him crap, giving him stick since he's come in, to write a letter of apology and post it to him mother, to him father, to everybody. Seriously, because I'm sick of our players getting disrespected.
I like him. I like him, man.
I love him. I've loved him since that Chelsea Cup final, where he handled Costa. He slapped him up. Yeah. Since then, I love that brother. Because
what game did Holding come in? It was a game what you had like a couple of weeks ago where he wasn't playing.
Crystal Palace. That's
the one is that when he mopped up Zaha all game? Him and Ben.
Oh yeah.
That's it. I remember your Arsenal fan mentioned before that. Oh my God, I can't believe he's playing and that. I was like, he'll do fine, bruv. Like he's not erratic, bruv. Like he's very smart reading the game, isn't it? He was good.
No, he's not Saliba, but the brother can pass. The brother can control the ball. The brother is a defender first and foremost, is what you want from your centre-back. People talk about, the progressive passing and everything. I don't care about progressive passing. I want you to be able to defend first and foremost. Yeah. If you can do that, everything else is a bonus. It's like saying your goalkeeper good with his feet. If he can't save the ball, he's worthless. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's useless if he can't save the ball. First and foremost is the job that you need to do is the one that's on your CV. Can you defend? Yes, he can. The rest you can teach, and he's a baller. He can pass the ball. If you look the games recently since he's come in, his progressive passing has been, you can't fault it. Yeah, you can't fault it. You know what I mean? And he holds his head, and he's learned from all his mistakes. So that's my boy.
Big old man, big props right there on Henderson and Holding. For me, I'm surprised no one said one of these two. For me, from an Arsenal perspective, I'll put them both because I'm cheating here. I'm doing host duties. I'm using the host power. No one's spoken about Gabriel. I thought he was immense until the end, right? Until when Ramsdale made those saves. Apart from that first goal where he switched off for Salah, immense, man of the match, doing a two-man's job, watching Salah throughout that whole first half as well, and in the second, covering on that left side, defensive due diligence, heading balls away, him and Holding, I thought were fantastic at that. Those games are suited for Gabriel. They're more suited. It reminded me of the Leeds game where we were under siege, when Leeds were like killed us in that second half. Absolutely killed us, but he stood strong, and he can do that when it's defense, when it's time to defend and grind and dig in. Gabriel thrives, and his ball playing ability, springing it out. That was one. It was when he was playing the ball, Arsenal were getting the attacks. That's where on the other side, I'd say we weren't quite connected as well. But I wouldn't say that's Holding's fault. But that was Ben White. I didn't think he had a great game after the yellow card. It was a bit passive after that. But yeah, Partey. In that midfield. See, how many times he saved us?
Because we always talk, me and you always talk about him. That's why I didn't mention either of those two.
Partey, But how many times, as I said, our 2-8s were not connecting, and that ball was getting sent back to us. Liverpool coming on the attack, Partey mopping it up. His little composure, the little turns that he does to break through the space, and where Liverpool were on top, and he gave us a bit of possession, but then eventually in the second half, we just gave it straight back to him. I thought he was immense. From a Liverpool perspective, man, it's when I'm looking at it, like, it's Konate, and I think he was the epitome of that first and second half, right? I thought he looked a bit tentative in possession, out of possession, didn't know quite when to engage with Martinelli, and didn't quite know when to play it forward, how quickly to do it. But in the second half, when you see that crunch tackle he made on Xhaka, and how many times he kept sweeping in behind, I thought Konate was also immense. A defenders union here. I'm choosing 2 centre backs, but nah, man, Konate, he really stepped it up. And if he'd have grabbed the goal for Liverpool, that would have probably been his game. I'd have said, where Konate has asserted himself, and where Konate has said, "This is me now, Matip. You've done a great job over the years, but now I'm starting as long as I'm fit."
That's how it should be as well, isn't it? Should be slowly just phasing out the older midfielder and bringing in the new one. I mean, the defender you have to do this erratic thing. Oh, Matip, get out, because he's been great for us, bro. And Konate is like still learning as well, man. Obviously, Saliba's quite young still. Konate's still quite young, but sometimes his positioning's off. But it's just his eagerness. When you're younger, you're more eager to try and win the ball on it. But you have to realize, you step out of a position, you leave a gap in behind. And the first half, he always does that step out anyway, but doing the step out when Trent's come into midfield, all of a sudden you've just left Martinelli with loads of space. Once he figured it out, he's very, very smart in what he done, man. And I think, yeah, man, going forward is going to be cold. Also, what you said on Gabriel, I have to say this, man, and listen, Arsenal fans, leave me alone in it. Both of your players. Gabriel's been better than Saliba right now.
Thank you.
Gabriel's been better than Saliba all season, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I know every now and again he's been shaky moments, but I've seen Saliba have shaky moments too. Gabriel's been the better one, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I hear that. I hear what you mean. And yeah, and just a suggestion that you made to us. Is it you want to do a combined 11 from this game?
Yeah. It's up to you, bro.
I like that one.
No Dembele though, right?
No. Hey, there was one time I put on Ndombele over Erdegaard. He won't ever let me go for that. That one.
Never.
Yeah, this was early days.
Oh, yeah, you can do it. Listen, you was right when you did it. Savage thought with this one. You were right when you said it, innit?
Yeah,
bro.
And seriously, I will find you. I will find you. Seriously.
Oh man! If you could just dash the link in the chat whilst I get it set up. But whilst I'm getting that set up, Alid, man, I want to ask you all, right, in terms of this game, and what can go on from here from Liverpool, like, because I thought Liverpool, that was what your best home performance in the second half this season. I can't think of a time. That's the most XG Salah has had ever, right? And Salah he's been in games where you've won 7-0, 9-0.
Yeah.
You've never had an XG like that.
He didn't score in the 9-0, so don't worry about that.
He had loads. He had loads of chances though, didn't he? I remember that one.
Yeah, he did, bro.
But yeah, man, like, what's the next step now for you guys in
Europa
Liverpool?
League, bro.
Conference League settings, bro.
To be honest, yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's just to, I said, don't want to say it like a footballer, but like just approach the next game, because we just cannot look ahead of ourselves. Because we've done that time and time again where we've got 2 ahead of ourselves. And yeah, we give ourselves the impetus to build on that last performance. And we've had performances where we've showed and flexed our muscles and we perform well to a certain extent. But we've proven time and time again, like, listen, Leeds Monday night, Elland Road, away game. It just has all the hallmarks of us getting absolutely slapped up again.
Yeah,
exactly. So you just never know with this Liverpool team. But at the same time, we could go there like we went there against Tottenham, completely neutralise them from the get-go and get the 3 points. But more likely than not, it will be a performance of which all it takes is for Leeds to get us on the back foot, and then we'll just completely fall apart and capitulate. So look, at the end of the day, it's kind of an unknown, really. I just think at the end of the day, our fixtures, I haven't really looked at them in great depth, but all I know is of Leeds, it's going to be a task and a half, despite coming off that Palace game, getting absolutely smashed. So yeah, But I've not a clue, bro. I've not a clue. I
feel the same. After every big game we've won this season, we've gone and lost the bottom half of the table. And when we lost to Nottingham, when we lost to Bournemouth, when we lost to Leeds, when we lost to Wolves, all of them were like 18th, 19th every single time. So it's mentality, and it's not the football.
Yeah, exactly.
I
think it's because these big games take it out of this team. Take the legs out of this team.
Yeah,
everyone's it was all post big game as well, wasn't it? It was. I think we played Man City, and then I think it was Forest the week after.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just these big games, and like you said, Wilf, as well, takes out of you. But again, it goes back to that mentality thing, I think, as well, which you alluded to it there, Hugo. So, 100%, man. I know a lot of people talk about the rebuild, but hey, if you can't get up to those games and you can't get that mentality correct, then that's just going to shoot you in the foot, innit?
Can I add that I've said it on this show before, but I think that run last season of going for all four took a lot of legs out of this Liverpool side, and people are not. I don't think people are taking that into consideration, because you went deep. I mean, you went neck deep into all four competitions. You won 2 of them, got to the semi-finals and finished second. That's unheard of. That is unheard of for a season. Nobody, even the great Man City sides, haven't gone that deep into 4 competitions. And for an aging midfield and a team that the way that you play that rock and roll football, it was going to take it out of this team. And the disappointment is another thing that would have hurt them as well, because the 2 big ones that they wanted, they didn't get.
Yeah.
And you know what, Wolf, as well? When you have a position of which we went all deep into all those competitions as well, I think psychologically it took a massive hit onto this season. Yeah. When you consider the manner at which we lost the league, when we felt that we had it, and then obviously, circumstances happen where Man City pulled back, and then you go into the Champions League game, and it's a very much a game of which, it's kind of a lull towards the end of the season because of obviously the league thing as well. We come into there just completely burnt out. To go and lose those 2 cups in the last game, I think would definitely took it out of us this season, and I think psychologically it's been really damaging as well. And it's when you don't evolve the puzzle. It's like when you service a car. And it's going up and down the country consistently, going mega speeds all the time. Don't service it. You don't add to the puzzle. You don't evolve the puzzle. You don't change things up. Yeah, exactly. What's the car going to do? It's going to eventually break down. So, look, I think at the end of the day, we haven't evolved right. I think since the Champions League final in 2017, we've only acquired 2 midfielders since that, which is just completely ridiculous when you consider the midfield is the most pivotal part, and that's the backbone. So it's crazy. It's crazy to think.
I do wonder if we had won everything last season. I reckon there would have been a couple of more people that would have left the club, I think sometimes where it's like
completed it,
legacy-wise, I'm not saying that these players won't go down history. They will, man. If you've won what you've won, it's not easy. Everyone makes it sound like, you've only won 1 Premier League and all that. I'm like, but most people haven't. Like the majority of people haven't won. So,
and how close you come on the other 4 occasions.
Yeah, so that whole team, barring a few of them, would have ended up winning. They would have had 2 Premier Leagues and 2 Champions Leagues and all of the trophies. And then it's like the ones who are a little bit older might be like, I might just move on, have it easier.
That's my season. That's my career.
What more have you got to prove? Like,
I think ultimately we would have just left because it's like I'm not playing. Like I've just got these trophies. I'm going to leave, and then more people would have came in and that. But then you left with something to prove, and then the legs not to do it anymore. It's like, I can't believe we let that slip. You know what I mean? Because I think they really wanted to win the Premier League with the fans there, and I think that's in their head where it's like, win the Premier League, have that play with the fans and move on and that, but it didn't happen. I think you're right, going into them competitions. I blame Man City, man. They shouldn't have given us a chance to even get back into the Prem, because in hindsight, they were 14 points ahead of us. It would have been better if we just knew there was no chance of ever catching them.
That hope that killed us.
The fact that we chased them down that much and that, and remember, everyone was doing the low block against us and that, was grafting to try and get these results.
Spurs.
No excuses. I don't think last season was a failure. I just think that we didn't get trophies. But we got 2 trophies. Can't have a failure season.
Most people would kill for last season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
God.
what a season when you look back.
Yeah. I know we would have. I have to say though, I've got to say something. Big up to the Beijing man in the chat. Finally, we get represented other than on league.
Other than us Jamaican yard man, is that what it is?
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly.
You see, you're
Some
outnumbered
culture,
right
finally,
here.
some
You're
culture.
outnumbered right here. Don't Will. You got. Are you Jamaican as well? You are.
Yeah.
3-1.
Come on,
3-1.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ali is as well, man. He's putting on the accent so it covers his Jamaican one.
Exactly, that's what it is. But guys, we're gonna get into this, and guys in the comments, I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts as well, especially if we get split on some decisions right here. We're gonna do this lineup builder. Thanks to my brother Enz. I saw him use this when he was on his channel. And guys, this is the best lineup builder that I've seen. So if you're using it on your channel, I recommend you give Enz a shout out, man, because it's the easiest and the most aesthetically pleasing one as well. But let's get into it. We'll start from goalkeeper. Alisson, I thought he was very good. Don't get me wrong.
Can I ask a question? Are we just going from this game?
Just from this game. Just from this game. Yeah, okay. Just from the 95 minutes, whatever. More than that, actually. Probably about 100 minutes.
We're just going to vote on each spot.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
From the game. Yeah. So, yeah. I thought, big shout out to Alisson, though, because I thought Alisson had a good performance. And his sweeping at points was key.
I know.
That's what stopped some of the Arsenal attacks, and where
that ball in Saka in it. The one
that ball. That one.
Scared, bro. It was 3 against 1.
Any other keeper, Saka would have got there. That would have been that guy, and then he would have made that ball.
If that's the Gea, it's a goal. It's a
few times I see Alisson outside of his box. No, 3 times. There was one when Saka done that turn and he played it across. No one was there. My man ran out to left back to go and clip the ball. I'm like, Alisson, listen, pass the ball. Yeah, and go back in your goal.
And what you see goalkeepers do there, just hoof it long. Now he's like, I'm progressing. Come on, where's my options? Big respect to Alisson.
No, not bigger.
But yesterday is Ramsdale.
Oh, it's Ramsdale.
Yeah, we all agree on that one.
He's got to now, hasn't he? Like be England's number one.
Okay, this is coming from a Liverpool fan who I hate Everton and hate Pickford. Yeah. To be fair to Pickford, he's kind of immense for England, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Even the tournament we've been knocked out of. Every tournament game we've been knocked out of, he's still made like 2-3 world-class saves in the match, man. Yeah. But there is going to be a time. It's not fair in it. Like that's the one spot in an international team where I don't feel like you can hang. You might have to treat it like the president and have it in 4 years or something, bro. Because otherwise, you're just going to be stuck there, bro. England keep it in the past.
You don't wouldn't remember the Clements Shilton thing, and it's like that. I feel like that. Yeah. And I agree with you because there's very few man that's big up Ramsdale more than me. But Pickford hasn't done anything wrong to lose his position. It's not like other places on the pitch. When it's a goalkeeper, you wait till your goalkeeper does something wrong before you bring in the next man. Yeah. And that's how it stands.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes, Your Highness.
Absolutely.
There's another Asian in the comments as well for you.
Exactly.
Nah, I see. We're coming in droves, man. You know what I mean? Open the floodgates.
Exactly. A lot of them are Liverpool fans, so I think you missed. Hey, you missed your team, Will. I'm joking.
No, don't. Hey. What? You can go too far, you know. My brother, go too far.
Exactly. Luke's got his team in here already. I'm sure we'll have a look at that and see what we decide on in this game because it will be interesting. But Ramsdale, I think Savage makes a good point in terms of Pickford's not done anything wrong, but I look at it similarly to the France situation where Hugo Lloris let them down until the big moment where in the final where he should have saved that shot in the end, and in the big moments it will come down to that. And Ramsdale is the better goalkeeper overall, especially.
Ramsdale will get picked when Southgate leaves, bro.
Yeah,
I promise, because Southgate doesn't pick anyone on form. Like Maguire, not even dissing Maguire by the way, he actually plays good for England, but the same. He weren't playing for Man U all season, and he still put him in. So tomorrow he never gets picked for England, bro. So I already know what's going on there. You get me? If I speak, I'm in trouble.
Exactly. Nah, I totally understand, man. Yeah, but that's a different topic. You got something on your channel, any ends talking about that? Am I right? England team?
Oh yeah, bro, that's coming up still. I scheduled it earlier. I haven't even mentioned that, but big up, good.
Yeah, I saw it. See, I was looking
at
it.
Bro. I threw it in there, came to my head. I thought, yeah, so we're gonna I think it's tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. I'm looking at like we're gonna pick the England 11.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Hey,
we'll
go
pick
check it out,
11,
people.
in our own opinion, bro, because some man ain't getting picked, and I don't know why.
Yeah, exactly that. We'll talk about it. But the defense as well, guys. You know, we've got a split at right back in the chat, and this is from Arsenal fans. So Luke is saying White, Moss is saying Trent. I know my decision, but I want to hear what you guys are going to say first.
Bro, come on, it's not a discussion, bro. Come on, let's just be real. It's going to be Trent, bro. It's going to be Trent
from yesterday's game. Trent.
Yeah,
from yesterday's game.
I
agree.
Even with the start, it's Trent for me as well. What about you, Alid and Hugo? Trent for you?
Yeah, Trent. Ben White was good though.
You can't take that away.
Season.
You can't take that away.
It's
Ben White's been great this season.
But yesterday it was Trent.
I really dislike that kid though. Don't know why.
Ben White.
He's got stupid face, man.
That's one of the main reasons why I love him even more, because other fans hate him so much.
Yeah, man. Like every time he's in his interviews and that, he's got the George Michael long earring and that. And when man wear that, I don't know why it bothers me so much.
Love that.
The George Michael earring. It's true, bro. But yeah, we are gonna have to go for Trent on this one here.
Yeah.
Listen, as we said, right. Obviously, Klopp used a different tactics. He had him as in more of an inverted player in terms of into the midfield. And it took them about 25 minutes to get used to it. And then after that, you already saw what happened, bro.
It's true.
I know, can I add one more thing on Trent?
Yep.
The going into this game, and the whole narrative of how bad he's been this season and whatever, in a game like this, and for him to step up, you've got to give that man props, because he's taken a lot of stick, and this could have been a game that he could have disappeared in, and he stepped up and showed his character.
I think the incident with Xhaka, you know, that riled Trent more than the crowd.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. Trent's defensive performance improved. He was way more aggressive, and even on Martinelli, getting tighter to him, and then really like trying to get under. I think that riled up the Trent more than the crowd, and that's probably where I criticise Xhaka in that sense. Why did you give Trent a reason to get, you know, fired up? Because he was looking quite meek before that moment.
It's like taking. You remember when they used to say about Wrighty, if you got to take the aggression out. That's his game. That's him.
Yeah, to be fair to Xhaka, that's calm Xhaka, isn't it? Like he's way better than he was before with his emotions. Like the problem was that he was pissed off with the Konate thing and the tackle. But I'm like, there's a reason why you didn't push Konate in the back like that, bro.
I don't know. I hear that. I understand that, but Xhaka ain't afraid of anyone. You know, he took on the whole Serbia team.
Konate ran over there and just shoved him off, bro, when he tried to square up to Trent.
Hey, that's because he's different now. If that's old Xhaka, he probably strangles Konate. That's why I get sent off. But we'll move on into the centre backs. I think this is quite easy as well. Speaking of the man Konate, there he is, Ibrahim.
Yeah.
As much as I want to say my boy Hogan, but
and then are we saying Gabriel?
Yeah,
100%.
This is what we did for the combined 11 on Enz's channel. Anyway, didn't we? This is what we ended up with. So
far, this has been easy.
Yeah, and then left back, I think as well. It's got to be Robertson. But that's always a bit.
Do you know what? Zinchenko didn't have a he didn't have a people aren't going to go to the nutmeg and then to the goal. They're going to go to that straight away. But in terms of his overall play, he was good, man. Defensively, he was strong. And then his passing, he helped out in the midfield quite a lot with tackles in there. And he tried his best to kind of link the game and slow the game down. But obviously, people are going to
Salah for a lot of that game.
They're going to push their mindset to obviously him getting nutmeg then the goal.
I'm happy. I'm going to dispute that. I would put Zinni in there ahead of Robertson.
Do you know why I wouldn't put Zinni ahead of Robertson? Because in the defensive moments, again, I thought even his run, do you know when Martinelli's made that pass? I think it was perfect. I've always spoken to these guys about one-on-one defending in those scenarios, and you have to block off the angle as best as you can. And I thought Robertson did that. And on the counter attacks, if it wasn't for him, I think we do score and smash and grab it. But because it was him, even when Saka made that turn, he's the one who held him up, allowed Van Dijk to get back. And it was so Robertson had key moments whereas Zinchenko, I thought Enz said it perfectly, and I'm glad that you said that, Enz, because I've seen a bit too much criticism on Zinchenko's game yesterday. It was one moment, where he got.
Robertson is another one. Sorry, Robertson is another one that I wanted him to play like he's been playing the whole season. Like he turned up in this game. like Trent. I was like, why? Both of them. You know,
as Amirali says here, he's been poor all season, but in these games, he does pop it up.
And he got elbowed by the head shoot, bro. So
yeah, bro.
I know.
We have to
surely that's an 8 game ban.
I reckon that linesman is a YouTuber, bro. You know them pranksters and that. How come no one's ever seen him before, bro? And he's got big ass in the football game, bro. Where's that come from?
You know what? If you watch the game again, because there's one bit where the cameras come off, and one of them linesmen get dragged off, and then he comes back and he looks different. I think that's
exactly that. He's definitely getting a ban of some sorts. Although I don't think he's obviously gone, you know what, I'm just going to elbow you. He's just reacted and he's caught him. But because he's caught him, he's going to get done.
Apparently, I think he's been suspended until the investigation.
If I'm honest, bro, I don't want a man to just have anything bad to happen to his career and that. And just send him down to the championship for 2 weeks.
Nah, man, you ain't elbowing my left back. You're not elbowing my left back.
The reason why I said that I don't want that to happen is because footballers do dumb shit all the time and that, bro. And that's
you're only looking after the linesman because he goes to the gym, bro. Other than that, you wouldn't care about
I mean, to be honest, my thing is like, all right, with the elbow, but there's a lot of referees that have done a lot worse that should be. If you ain't taking out them VAR man and them referees that make some awful decisions and VAR, you can't go after this man because people are people. People react, and he came from behind him, and it's just a reaction. He didn't like look for him and give the elbow. He just kind of shrugged him off.
That's true.
So I don't. Everybody's blowing this out of proportion, and because it's a linesman. But man do that in a game, but they don't get a ban.
This is what they should have done, man. At the end of the game, bro. How people have to have interviews. They just should have interviewed the linesman, bro, and asked him. He would have just said like, "Yo, I didn't know, bro." Like, I mean, I would have just been like, but you know how many fans run on the pitch and try and like grab the players and that, bro. I just thought he was one of the fans, bro. You get me? That's it.
Yeah.
I hear that, exactly that. Let's move on into the midfield now, guys. UV's put his in here already. It's Partey, Hendo, Jones. What we saying, people? And Brush, big up Brush. He says like, share, and subscribe to all of the channels that we got right here. We're streaming on Klopp Talk TV, Tweet Talks, and on Ends as well. And we're also on Twitter, so go check out an Ends man on Twitter as well. And don't forget Hugo Online, if you defo. And Ibby asked you earlier, is this your voice sounds familiar, Hugo? Reacting to wrestling.
No, that's my brother, man. That's my man. Nah, it's me still. Yeah, it's me still.
Exactly. Check out Hugo Online on YouTube, people. On the way to 500, is it?
I don't know. I don't check them, bro. I swear to God, I don't know.
He doesn't check the numbers. Exactly.
You don't check them.
You don't check the numbers like you don't check the table. But move on into the
whoa.
That was
nothing but nicely, bro. I don't understand.
Oh no!
Come on, man.
The rest stopping that fight, man. That's one of them ones.
You see how we came here? We came here.
You know when one man's fighting the next man and he gets a thump from behind him. That's how.
I gave him the elbow.
That was a cheap shot, bro.
Yeah,
Bro,
that was.
I even nearly laughed, bro, and I was like, "Hold on a minute."
That was cold, bro. And now that was WWE. That was WWE.
Facts.
I'll take my card. See, it's a new day. I was on 2 strikes. I was on 2 strikes on Enz's channel earlier.
You were waiting for that, bro. You were waiting for that little opening.
I had to get something in there. Midfield.
Hugo, are you all right, man? Because I'll take off the glass to see if that bruise.
You see, I'm saying this online because I ain't saying it to Hugo's face. Okay? I'm saying it online. I shouldn't have said it to him. Actually, we're too cold.
The location's not far, bro.
You know, but you notice he said that because Enz is between him and Hugo.
Yeah.
So he can say that.
That guy gets hyped, bro, when someone's holding him back. Like, what? Hold me, bro.
Yeah, I'm one of them, man. I'm one of them, man. Like, I don't say anything until someone starts holding me back, and I start getting leery. That's it. But we might into the midfield now, man. Then, so Partey, Jones, Hendo. That's what UV says. Are we thinking the same thing over here?
Not far off.
He's not far.
Partey, Hendo.
Thiago might have an argument, but he was only on for half an hour.
Thiago.
To be fair, no, he is in for a shot because I think that's how probably good the length of time Partey was probably good for.
Yeah.
That's not
I wasn't happy with Thiago come on and he showed why. Yeah.
I thought Partey was good for whether in both parts of the game where it was getting bitty, it was getting broken up. He was the one breaking up the play, and also good in terms of progressing the ball as well. That's why I love Thomas Partey. He's so important for us.
He had like a little spell just at the end of the half and just like the first 10-15 minutes of the second half where what you're saying is correct. But then I felt like he just went missing. He just became a number in the team. It didn't feel like he was like he stood above and like, oh, I'm gonna win that first tackle and then play out. But you're right in terms of the last 10, first 15 of it. I think he was doing that.
But I think that was down to who was around him, wasn't playing, wasn't stepping up.
Literally one man in midfield.
and any other team, you know, with no disrespect to West Ham and Leeds and all them kind of teams, we can get away with that, but not against Liverpool at Anfield.
Not with how good you were as well, man. Like I think we're forgetting this. I think there's a lot of talk on the Arsenal end about, you know, we emotionally didn't deal with it, but Liverpool were relentless.
Frankie,
back to the Liverpool that old at that second half.
They were good. This is what I'm saying to you when people were talking like it was only one team out there and we just switched off and let everybody play. This is a Liverpool team that came at us, and the second half we had to deal with that. And even last season, we would have got rolled over.
That was my next point. If this is last season, you beat us about 7-2 easily because we fold as soon as one of the goals go in. Do you know what I mean? And we give the ball away a lot more frequently. And that's the issue of the other end, is that Arsenal did give the ball away in dangerous areas. Arteta said that after the game. But Thiago, good shout ends, because I do think he has a shout because the impact he had. Another substitute of yours also has a shout in there too, because there was that period in between 60 to 80 minutes where you didn't actually get a shot off in that part, but you were still building in terms of pressure. But then when he came on, those passes through the lines. I told you this before. I told you this in the preview. I was so happy he wasn't starting, but when he came on, I was like, yeah, we can't press now.
Little step over and outside of the foot pass.
Because he can just cut it straight away.
Tell you one thing about Thiago, man. When Thiago touches the field, bro, you realise how much better than all of our midfielders he is. He's way better than all of them.
Yeah,
they're not even terrible midfielders. He's way better, bro. Little things that he does, I'm just like, nah, bro. This guy's cold, bro. So cold.
Yeah,
exactly. I can't wait to have him and Diaz back together, bro.
Yeah,
this is what annoyed me so much, because so many young men that might not have been doing it all season all turned up this game. Yeah, all of them turned up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What are we saying then, guys, for that left side? Jones or Thiago?
I think. Jones had a very good game.
You know,
he had a very good game, but I think Thiago was.
Yeah, I think Thiago edged it because his passes were more progressive in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jones was good within the Liverpool team. He was bad in the first half.
But also, he was a part of the first goal as well, weren't he? So
yeah, he was.
He created that overlap, I think, wasn't it? And then pulled
back heel and that.
Yeah. No, I think with Jones is definitely a step in the right direction for him, and I kind of want to see him do well now.
He did back-to-back good games where he's good against. He broke up against Chelsea, but he was good. So,
I think it's with the criticism he's got as well. You kind of just want to see him perform. But for me, I think Thiago, like I said, progressively he was on top.
Thiago it is then. Thiago it is.
Thiago. I think as Wesbird saying here, part A work event, because it's a little name that we have for us.
Yeah.
You remember Boris Johnson was good, but I think he wasn't as influential in the second half. That's a credit to Liverpool, but I think we were so poor with our ball retention in the second. Absolutely agree, totally. In that sense, and that's why Moss put Ødegaard in there. That's why I can't. In the first half, he was good, but when the going got tough, that's when I needed you to step up, man. So,
and I love Ødegaard, but when he's not at it, because his standards are so high, when he's not at it, it shows more. That's why I can't give him the credit for this game. If you're talking the season, it's a different matter. But there have been certain games this season where we've even spoke about it, Tariq, where in certain games he's not necessarily played at the level that he needs to be or has been playing at, and this is one of them.
Exactly that.
No, definitely.
It's a bit like, Kevin De Bruyne, when he's not at the level, everyone piles in at him. But it's not to discredit the player. It's when these creative players, man, they get so much abuse in these scenarios and too much overly criticised. But hey, tell me an attacking midfielder that has shone at Anfield this season once again.
This is
Man United fans who are talking, bro, your captain has to come off the pitch. Don't even bother.
Let's not talk about. And this is another thing that's really annoyed me about the backlash from our Arsenal fans for this game, because when Man United went there, they were flying high, and everybody's talking about, myself included, we're in the title race and this, that, and the other, and Liverpool are washed up, and they slapped them 7-0, and then that is a capitulation. Where that was embarrassing. Where Man literally walked off the pitch. They didn't physically, but they went, nah, I'm not into this. I'm not having any part of this, and I'm hiding and all that. And you know who we're talking about. But we didn't do that yesterday. Yeah, we took our licks and we stood there. If it had been. Tariq, we like our boxing thing. If it had been a boxing match, the ref wouldn't have stopped that fight. We'd have still been on our feet. There wouldn't have been a standing 8 count or whatever. We would have still been slugging.
Would have been on the ropes, but not.
I agree with that. The ref would have been watching just in case. But you're right.
But we'd have still been swinging. We'd have still been swinging.
Because it's a heavyweight fight as well, because it's a big one, they don't like to step in anymore. They let the fighters fight, and that's what happened, man. And we came out, fortunately, in the end with the point. But we'll go into the front three now, because UV's put his in here as well. He says my front three is Martinelli, Jesus, Salah. I think Martinelli, shoe in for sure. But the other substitute, once again, man, that's in between 60 to 80. No chaos. We was managing the chaos, riding through the storm. And then that man, 11 goals now against us in Bobby Firmino.
I hate him. I hate him so much. Because he's so good. I hate him. Again, turns up.
I don't know where he came on time playing, but he was playing anywhere. Bro, there was times I see making tackles in the middle of the park, just mopping up. 1-2.
I knew it was going to be him, I knew it was going to be him.
Yeah, when he came on, I hated. Yeah, he's in there. His very first action was create that chance for Nunez, wasn't it? After flicked onto Salah, Salah plays it through to Nunez and then draws a save from Ramsdale. Man,
you know when certain teams have are your kryptonite. Like the first one that comes into mind when I think of Liverpool is that man Robbie Fowler, class striker, but I hate him so much because he slapped us about. Firmino is one of them. It's just kryptonite. It's just like, it's where we give him his superpower.
If he's not dribbling through your team, dropping man and finishing it, bro. As soon as he won that header, bro, every one of the Arsenal players went down to their knees, bro. They were like,
exactly.
"No, bro, this guy did it again."
Exactly.
It has to be him. Big one.
I don't know if it has to be Bobby though, because
it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up.
It could, once again, game of two halves. Jesus was absolutely on.
I forgot about him as well.
So,
Me personally, I'd put Firmino in there over Salah because
Oh,
I'm telling you.
Salah don't get in the front.
Yeah, if there's any way we can get Firmino and Jesus in there,
Yeah.
we have to try and find that.
Yeah.
Because Jesus was top yesterday.
We'll dash Jesus on the right wing, then put Arsenal because there's probably too many Gabriels out there.
You can put Bobby anywhere, bro. He plays anywhere as well, bro.
Yeah, I know.
No,
You can probably put him in goal and he'd like score from there.
Yeah.
That was the team. And then looking at it, you know, how many Liverpool players we got here? We got 1, 2, 3 at the back. We've got 2 in midfields and then 1 up top. So sounds about right in terms of how the game went in the end. Because of the majority, we had 30 to 40 minutes, and then you guys had the whole 45, 55 minutes.
Like you keep adding on time to bro. I only remember about 20 minutes to 25 minutes, bro. But listen, if you want to go up to 40,
I thought
cool,
that
bro.
as well. I'm with you. Enz.
Yeah, if you want,
I think it was. Yeah, go on.
because T keeps adding. First he started off at 25-30, then now it's 35 to 40. Next time he speaks, he's gonna be like,
I thought
40,
I thought it was because it was literally when you scored. That was when the game switched.
I felt it switched just before that.
No, because when the Xhaka incident happened, that was in the 40th minute, and that was in your end.
Yeah, but it's not like I get that point, but it's not like you guys were peppering us at that in those moments. It was just like you took your chances when you got them, and it wasn't like you was bombarding. We were just sitting in and holding on for dear life. I think it was a 50-50. You guys just took your chances. You were playing a better football. That's fine.
We did. We're the away team. We're the away team. So
yeah.
It's, you know, I mean,
we're not going to bombard you like that. Real Madrid didn't bombard you like that,
though, bro.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to give your team some more
No,
added
but
on
I'm
time.
saying we had the possession at that point. That's what I'm saying. If you have possession and you 2-0 up and you're just playing it around, then Liverpool can't get near you at that point. That's at Anfield.
I hear you, bro. But we finished the first half on more possession, so. I hear you though.
We had this conversation. Yeah. Where was the possession? Tell me where the possession was. With
Alisson. Possession, bro. Possession.
So possession means nothing. You know that.
Honestly, I think this was an even game. I mean, I'm gonna watch it back again, but I think it was an even game, which was one of the main reasons why it's game of the season, because it could have gone either way. Even at the end, you know, we had a couple of chances and could have done something like the Saka one, and then if you cut that back to Trossard or Gabriel's header, the Martinelli, and you got to remember games change on single moments like that. So one of those goes in. Yeah, or even if we had gone 3-1, you know, if we'd gone 3-2, because remember the I think wasn't the Gabriel header?
3-2's too late. No, because it was 2-1 at that point. It would have been 3-1.
You could have went 3-0 in the first half though. That Jesus back post.
Yeah. True. But so when do you know the Gabriel header?
That was at 2-1.
Yeah.
So if we'd gone 3-1 up, I don't think Liverpool come back then.
But that's it. That's why the game is decided on moments. But at the end of the day, that's why I've got to say now, I'm happy with a draw, because, you know, if we're talking about these moments, Liverpool had about 3. Do you know what I'm saying? In the second half, where there were more clear-cut chances in the end. With that save from Ramsdale, I've never seen anything like it. It looked like it was going in. It had the perfect height.
Oh, the one where he's left behind. I think it was. Who was in front of him? Zinchenko was in front of him and he saw it late.
Gabriel.
No, Gabriel, the deflection.
You're on
about where he had to push Zinchenko and Salah's hit straight at him.
There's one where I can't remember who it was that took the shot, but it was Zinchenko in front of him. I think it might have been Salah, and he took the shot and he saw it late. Oh right, okay, sorry. But it was Zinchenko. It was Zinchenko. It wasn't Gabriel.
Yeah, he pushed Zinchenko. That was before that the top save, and then the Konate one. I saw a stat on this: is 16% chance of saving that. He had a 16% chance, and the only reason he saves it is because he doesn't give up on it, and that's why most goalkeepers in that scenario give up on making a save, because Konate bundles that in. Even though, you know, Liverpool fans, you man were saying that he should have went with his head, he should have. But I also think Tierney had an effect on that in terms of he swung a boot there, and Konate's I'm not going to smack my head there. Do you know what I mean? If that,
Oh, there was another chance where can't remember. It was a ball that was going to Saka, and someone got a piece of it. It might have been Allison who got his foot on it.
Robbo. There's Robbo.
Yeah, Robbo. But was it
There
goal
you
across?
go.
I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
Robert
ball
intercepted
across,
it,
and if he hadn't touched
picked
it,
up.
it would have.
perfect.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
But
it was a
Mandem,
big moment. That was. I think I was in the last 15, wasn't it? I think it was. That could have really tilted the game. So
wrap it up on this section, and then we'll wrap up the show as well. We've got Ramsdale in goal, Trent at right back, Konate, Gabriel, Robertson, solid defense based on yesterday, I'd say. And then in the midfield, Thiago, who had a cameo, came on, made a difference, and with his elegance, the ends brought up the outside of foot past the Gakpo down there for ridiculous.
class.
Thiago and Partey would be such an entertaining midfield to watch in
Oh.
terms of, when they're on the
Can
ball.
you
and
imagine it?
And then you got the ingenuity of Henderson as well. And yeah, once again, if you could flip, Henderson was brilliant. I thought throughout, even in your tough, he wasn't brilliant in your tough periods, but in the best part of the game, he was. All of your attacks came down the right, and he's there. He's the option, and that's where he did really well in that second half. And then the front three of Brazilians that came off, we had to put Jesus, Firmino, and Martinelli.
Okay.
What a team. And just to kind of wrap it up on this on the show, guys, massive pleasure to everyone who has joined us in the comments as well. Thank you for staying with us, guys. It's been great. We had plenty from Enz's side, plenty in the TTF as well, and a big up everyone who's joined from Aled's side as well, guys. But my final question for you all is, Arsenal, we have the big thing to play for, the big trophy. What's your prediction on that? And did Liverpool have a chance? Not for top four, no. Is that
before you go on? There was a question that Ed asked earlier on Liverpool fans and what they think of Klopp, and I was hoping you'd get to that.
Yeah. So we'll throw that on this part as well. So when the Liverpool side, what's your thoughts on Klopp? Is it what does he need to do? Is it if we don't see much change, is he the one responsible? Is he a big part to play in this all?
Do you want him to stay or go?
Collectively, I think it's been. I think it's just been a collective problem from the coaching staff for him, the owners, and the players as well. Everyone has to kind of take their shared blame. In terms of what's going on. So I want him to stay, but at the same time, I just want him to be less stubborn. I want him to understand, football is a transitional sport, so it's going to change. So when he first took over, the way we played suited the Premier League then. It's changed now. There's a lot more technically and tactically better managers now or gifted teams. So we have to change our team to kind of suit. But still, we can keep the old, gang-ho, press, win the ball on the front foot and then go and score and brush these teams off the park from early. But we have to slightly change. And I think sometimes his stubbornness kicks in. And he needs to give a lot more of the other players a bit more chance, like give Curtis a bit more opportunity, because the other guys he's giving the opportunities to ain't really cutting it at times. And I think we just need to freshen it up. But we'll see what happens in the summer. And then we'll go from there, in my opinion.
Do you trust and believe he can rebuild this team?
Yeah,
he's never done before. I
no. So okay, the issue is with that statement. I think it's incorrect, and I think a lot of Liverpool fans have been saying it as well. He has rebuilt a team because the team that he came and inherited at Liverpool is not the same team we have now. So he has built a team. And I get people are talking about rebuilding a team but he did rebuild Liverpool. When he came in, he rebuilt from what we had.
The only reason I say that, and I hear what you're saying, and I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Is he's never rebuilt his own team?
Yeah, but that's because he's never stayed past a certain period of time.
That's what I'm saying. Do you believe he can?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he can or he can't, because no one can say he can't and no one can say he can, because he's never really gone past a certain period of rebuilding the team. So at the moment, we're going in uncharted waters now. He's like, can he do it? Let's wait and see. The summer is going to be one of those points where we're going to be like, okay, cool, he can do it. Or maybe he buys players and we're like, okay, he can't do it, and then we have to get rid of him, whatever way. But yeah, to say that he can't already, and I think more the fans are leading towards that side, he can't do it. But I think we don't have we don't have like we can't say it yet. We can't say it yet. We just have to see. So I'll wait till the summer and then we'll go from there.
Definitely. Throw that to you as well, Hugo.
Yeah, Klopp's my guy, man. I've never wanted him out of the club, to be honest, bro. And yeah, this season's one of them rough seasons and that, man. But I think there's so many like factors. On top of like, of course, the coaching, the players have to stand up and be accountable for certain things. I actually like most Liverpool, well, not most, but a lot of Liverpool fans think Klopp's. I actually don't think he's stubborn. I just think that the things what people love him for in the good moments, in the bad moments, probably go against him because it's always the loyalty and the way he takes care of players as a man manager, which means for the younger players, he's always trying to protect them, and that's how I feel anyway. So when they're not playing a lot, it's like, yeah, we're in deep waters now, playing terrible, and I don't want to throw you in there. And then he does, and everyone's like, play him, and then we play him, and then usually it doesn't work out. It usually doesn't work out because they need a consistent run of games. And anytime Liverpool's been in a good moment, he's thrown them in, which just shows that he's trying to throw them in good periods where he can play with the better players and learn. Yeah, you can learn by the baptism of fire, but it doesn't always work out for you, bro. We had that in COVID where people had to get thrown into the team because there's no choice. And at that time, people turned on Curtis Jones. That's when everyone started hating him for no reason, by the way. I remember the game West Brom because he gave away a throw-in, by the way. And after that day, everyone, you know what I mean? Same happened with Nico Williams. Didn't play him, then we started playing him. He actually played good for Liverpool. People couldn't give me 3 bad games he had. But same thing happened. So then I think he became more cautious, which doesn't help because you've got players who don't have the legs anymore. You've been unlucky with certain players, not disrespecting any of them, but Ox has been there a while now and his legs ain't been running for a bit. Naby's the same. You thought you was going to get more from him. And you don't have their funds to just go and what Man City would have. If Naby was at Man City, they would just replace him the same season, bro. Like, end of the season, we'll just replace you, bro, because we can. And people forget that Guardiola and I have done that, bro. When he was getting it wrong with like the right backs and left backs, they just got rid of him. Just swapped him quickly. Goalkeeper, we'll just get a new goalkeeper. Liverpool don't have that to do in it. So, yeah, a lot of the season's on Klopp, and I'm sure he will say that himself because he's the manager. But yeah, I've never liked Klopp out ever, bro. And you know, end of the season, see what happens. I just need this to end the season with a bit of pride in it. So if they play like they did yesterday, they're not going to be as intense because every team isn't Arsenal. But play a bit smarter, win as many games as you can. If you end up getting top 4 because everyone else messes up, then you get it, innit? The points are the points you deserve if you get it. If you don't, either get Europa League or just don't get in it because I don't want to be in that Conference League at all. I don't want anything to do with that. You know what I mean?
I'd rather not be in Europe than
oh yeah, bro, I'd rather finish 10th than be in the
I want to play for that trophy, Savage, bro.
I want no part. I want no part.
If we're not gonna get if we're not getting Champions League, which is likely, and we're not gonna get Europa League, looks likely because I don't.
So you want me to watch Liverpool games after Tracy Beaker finishes at half?
No, don't don't worry, bro. I'll do the watching.
I don't even know the theme song to the Conference League. I'm not ready to get Zurich Grasshopper.
It's the Tracy Beaker team. It's the Tracy Beaker team.
The background is green, bro. I just have to change that up.
Yeah, man. You know all them teams that play on AstroTurfs and that. I'm not trying to play against them. Yeah, man. I think we need to go into the summer fresh and that, bro. And listen, I don't want that. I never have that defeatist mentality where I don't want to be in trophies and that. I've never said, just sack off the League Cup and go for the league. I've always wanted, but for me, the Conference League is literally the cut-off point in football where you're rewarding man for finishing in stupid positions now. Like, leave me out of that. And I think if we don't get the Europa League and we can get away from the Conference League, it might help us next season, bro. Yeah, a few less games, a bit more rest periods. You know what I mean? We won't have the Champions League to deal with, and we'll have the FA Cup, League Cup, and the Prem. And if that happens, and we get some more reinforcements, I wouldn't rule Liverpool being back out in that title race and winning some trophies that season either. So I'm here for it.
Especially with your owners as well, because then we've got to be realistic. They're not going to spend the money that I think's required to compete in all multiple fronts to get you back on that level for what's needed. So for you to do that and just focus on the main domestic cup competitions here in England, I think that's perfect. And you can get your 1 or 2 midfielders in because you need more than 1 or 2, and then even in other areas as well. So I think that's a good point from you, Savage.
So just before you shift over, the reason why I want to probably play in there, if we're not going to get the other 2, is so the younger players can get an opportunity to play some top level games to their standards anyway. But I think that gives them a bit more games to go and play for, and then we can kind of see who can make it and who can't. But I think if we solely just have the Prem, then it's just a recycle of the same team or the same kind of 15 or 16. and then the FA Cup and Carling Cup. So if we have that, then I'll go. At least we'll get to see a lot more of the young players as well, just to see them run out in those kind of competitions.
I think that's a good point. And I've seen Liverpool fans, talk like, because Ben Doak, he's the one that that's creating a lot of excitement. I think not necessarily for him, because I think he needs a loan out to play 38, 46 games.
Yeah.
I think he needs that. But under 18 players who are going to come in for the odd game, in between the FA Youth Cups and that one. In the 21s, those types of players need more games by that age. Because look at that, the time, the age that players are coming through now is like 18, 19. Do you know what I mean? So 21s, usually it's just quite hard. It's rare that you see most of those make it. But what about you, Aled, in terms of this with the Klopp situation and next season for Liverpool?
No, 100%. You have to trust him. Never been Klopp out. Never want to be Klopp out, to be honest.
Your channel can't.
No, exactly. No, 100%. But more importantly, I just think this summer is huge. I think a lot of people obviously, it's incredibly despondent from us. But do you know what? I actually think Jurgen Klopp's very smart when he comes out in the press conferences and he kind of takes the steam out of his players. He kind of takes responsibility and says, like, I'm responsible for this rubbish. When he's surely looking at those games and thinking, what on earth are these lot doing? They're absolute space cadets, a lot of them. Because honestly, I swear, on times I'm thinking, like, I think, look, there's a calamity of things. Accountability needs to be taken. Jurgen Klopp needs to take accountability. The players also need to take accountability, because it does look like a mentality issue, as well as the fact we do look just not with it and not being able to coincide that intensity which we've associated ourselves off over the last few years. So, look, to be honest with you, I think trust the process. This summer is going to be huge. Give him the time and the license to get the players he wants to get, and also allow them to be integrated within the squad. It's all good getting these players, but if you don't give them the time to integrate themselves and anticipate those results, then you're just not going to, release that pressure. So, look, give him that time. And I've seen a lot of people, I've seen a few people talking about on, I think it was Talk Sport, how long does this bad patch, the Jurgen Klopp and this Liverpool side going for, these conversations to start appearing, and this, Jurgen Klopp starts to receive this pressure. I just wanted to kind of ask you guys that, like, how long does it have to take? Because I think Simon Jordan was saying October. I think Danny Murphy said around September. Like, how long would it be? Because, like, obviously, he's built up that credibility, he's built up that trust, and given that license to kind of, turn the ship around. But how long does it have to take before that starts to wear off? I think
you have to look at it in stages. So I'd say from now until probably January. So the first stage will be, let's see how we finish the season. Second stage will be, how do we spend in the summer? And then we look at the friendly games, kind of understand what kind are we going into the game with a different setup, with different tactics. And then you go, okay, what's the first 7 games looking like? And then after that, you go, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that there's a change. We're playing better towards the end of the season. I can see there's new players. I can see in the friendly games, we've changed tactics. We changed the personnel in certain areas. We've brought in a couple of really good players as well. And then we've won our first couple of games. Okay, cool. We'll run with it. Yeah. But in those little stages, if there's any like drop off, like we do dog in the rest of the season, and then we don't buy the players we're meant to buy, and then we start the season off poor, I think that's when you can kind of, make a decision whether you think he should go or not.
Definitely. Nah, I hear that. What about you, Hugo? On Ali's
question?
Yeah,
probably say the Christmas period of next season, maybe, because I know that going into the latter part of December, you have that period of cluster of games in it. You end up playing about 5 games in like a certain amount of days, and I think going into that, depending on where we're on the table and how we're playing, the writing will be on the wall if we're not playing well already going into that. If we're thereabouts where we should be with the big boys in the table, then I'm fine with that going into them periods. But the reason why I say that time, because depending on what whoever would do, FSG or whatever, and if he's going to get a new manager in for that period. And this is only my opinion based on, because I know how football is, because I would always want to give managers more time, but it's not realistic, is it? But if that is the case, then the new manager coming in, at least he would have the January transfer window. And it might not be where FSG is going to be like spending loads of money, because they might have already spent money in the summer. but there might be a few little ones where the manager can, okay, I'll get rid of this guy and spend 20 million or 30 million on this guy and change stuff up a little bit. So yeah, that'll be the period for me, man. But I don't see it happening like it did this season, because this season started bad. Like it didn't. It's not like
it didn't progressively go.
Yeah, all the other times we fell off at like Christmas periods. People got injured, and that this season we started off
right from the get-go.
Draw at Fulham and stuff like that. And then by the time we got to the Man U game, which was not even that far into the season at Crystal Palace, we already looked pretty bad. But then we punched up Bournemouth, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay, 9-0, we started bad. We can go
back."
Because I think was it you guys last season at the beginning of the season? You started bad at it. You lost to Brentford, and then you lost.
3 games or something.
Yeah, and that's how I thought our season was going to go. I was like, "Oh, we'll end up with top 4 now, and probably finish third or something." But didn't end that well. And to be fair, Man U started the season bad. They got punched up by Brighton and Brentford, and look, they're playing better. But I think we'll be all right, to be honest. But I have faith in. Yeah, I mean, there's no way you're good enough to get us to that position, and then all of a sudden you just don't have any talent anymore as a manager. I don't think so.
Absolutely. And the final one, the title running. You guys are neutrals, as neutral as you can be in football, because I don't think you ever are a neutral. You always back one team to win, for whatever agenda, for whatever reason. But this title running, Man City got the experience. For me, they're the favourites. I think we'd all agree on that, because of the experience and the level of the games that they've got is not as hard as Arsenal's.
The running,
Are you saying it to make yourself feel better, T, or?
No, I wonder what Wilf would say on this, because I think Man City are the favourites in that. Because you're never going to be the favourites in this situation until you've actually done it right. You aren't. Exactly. And Man City have been in this occasion plenty of times. You man know, we all know. They're even pre-Pep. They've been in there where we haven't been in a long time, with a young team as well. But how do you actually see this unfolding?
For me,
Wilf, and then we'll hear the Liverpool.
All right, for me, I like being Man City being the favourites.
Same.
I believe wholeheartedly that we're going to go and win the title. There's never been a doubt in my mind from early doors. You know what I mean? That we're going to go and win the title. I love where we are. This result makes no difference. And I said before, I think it means Man City realise just how serious we are, that we're coming for them.
Interesting.
Good, should be confident, man. You 6 points.
Yeah, you've built up that sort of belief that you.
Not only that, you've been great all season. It's not
exactly.
Wins, but for me, I personally, bro, I told you yesterday before the game, I said, if you beat Liverpool, I think you've won the league. Now, I have this feeling it's going to finish on goal difference, bro. I swear to you, bro. I swear. I think currently the thing what everyone thinks is going to happen is you'll play Man City, they'll win, and then you'll lose another game, they'll win the game in hand or whatever. I just think after that, bro, I can't see both of you as like a lot of points to the end of the season, because you haven't dropped a lot all season already. I think it's going to goal difference, bro. And the goal difference ain't even that mad. I think it's about 5 goals. But within that time, Haaland will score another hat-trick.
Another hat-trick of hat-trick to me.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a point or two.
Yeah, look, I did say Arsenal to win the title, but I don't know, Tariq, the other day, man, he said some harsh things on my show, so I don't know.
Tariq, man, what are you doing?
Sorry.
Nah, do you know what it is? I think that draw against Liverpool, that might cost you guys, because with Man City, and us as Liverpool fans know, bro, it's that back end of the season, they do not drop points.
Yeah,
they just grind out. Like you have to consistently get 3 points, because they're going to be on it. And I know, obviously, this season they haven't been as consistent as they normally would, but you can just see, even the way they just took us apart. Even the Southampton game, that was a tough game for them, but they were just so like Haaland anyway. But they just got the job done. And then the next game they're going to go and try and get the job done. But they've got players now, like Grealish is in good form. Mahrez is in good form, and even when certain players have dropped off, and now they've changed that formation now, because they've gone 3-2-4-1. So they've changed the formation now to just, I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for you guys still.
it does seem like they have found that balance defensively away from home.
they've changed
that was their issue. Away
you
from home.
You always notice with Man City when they start scoring goals and just tapping each other on the shoulder and running back to the centre circle.
Yeah.
When they're already winning. I'm telling you, bro, they're trying to kill someone, bro. But what might get you over the edge, maybe, bro, is Arteta, bro. Because he's been on the side of Man City doing that. He knows everything what's going on in Man City right now. So that might get you over the edge, man. He might just have enough to just calm your players down. Because I've always, all season, I felt like if you're not going to win the title, it's going to be emotions what lose you the title, bro. And Zinchenko crying yesterday, I'm like, bro, it's too early to be doing that, bro. It is not 2 games left in the season. Like, don't get me wrong, because when Suarez and I was crying at Crystal Palace, bro, there was only like 1 game, 2 games left. Bro, you've still got quite a lot of games left, man. Doing that that early, nah, man. You better tell all your players stay off social media because some of your fans are toxic as hell, bro. Like, you've been doing great. Stay off social media. Go out, have food together and all that, and then go back home, bro. You're celebrating the summer, bro. This is the way to do it.
Win, lose, or draw.
I actually think this point could be what gives us the title.
Could be.
Yeah, it could work both ways, you know.
Yeah, I think so. Because I mean, the big difference is, as well as Arteta, and we've been saying this, is that Man City are used to fighting Liverpool. So this is a totally different animal. You know, I think I've used this analogy before. You know, on them wildlife programs where you see 2 lions have been fighting for the pride from season after season after season, and all of a sudden a new lion comes and the brother goes, wait, hold on, this brother's got different styles, tactics, he's younger, he's stronger, he's hungrier. And I think that's us. And I know it's probably my heart saying this, but I definitely think Arteta's got, because he's been through that, he's got Pep's number on this, and Man City's focus on the Champions League. The deeper they go in the Champions League,
and take them out.
That's it, man. And that's where I say, when I'm looking at it with hope, for sure, is that they do drop points in those games in between. The one that they got in is Leicester. They ain't dropping points there. They're at home. Man City don't do that. But it's the Everton one. I think they will make it to the semi-finals. And if they do, Everton away from home in between Real Madrid games, rotation.
It's the turnaround times. It all depends on because it makes it really interesting. Then when you've got like Wednesday and then you're on Saturday 12:30 or something like that, or you're on 3 o'clock Saturday. Just that turnaround time. It takes it out of you as well. I think Wilfred said that, those big games, it takes it out of you. And I think
Everton play like Man City's going to win that game 8-0.
Also, they're missing Phil Foden, and he's normally a difference maker in those tight games.
Yeah, those
and
he'll be back towards the end of the season as well.
He'll be back for those kind of run-ins, and he's that player. Even if he starts or come off the bench, he tends to change the game or score. He's in like that weird form where he just scores or assists when he's on the field. And he normally shifts it, and he'll be like, it's a tight game, and then he'll pop up with some sort of 1-2, and then he just finishes it off. And then that's how they kind of get the cycle going. So when
he takes people's minds off a game, he takes people's minds off a game. So when you're playing and then Foden comes on, you suddenly switch going, oh my God, and you forget about who you're supposed to be.
Because the other day, Bernardo wasn't even playing in that, and he came on, he wasn't even that good, and I was like, I forgot you had him as well, bruv. And then he got Mahrez when he decides to turn up, bruv. And crack Grealish, bruv, I'm telling you, bruv, the end of the season, you want to see he's going to win like 2 penalties, bruv. There'll be one game when all you Arsenal fans are watching Man City, and you're like, this is the game, we're going to flip, it's going to be 0-0. Grealish will win him a penalty, bruv.
Like he did against Villa, and he gets his old team. So
Shane doesn't even care, bruv.
Yeah, no, he celebrated as well.
See, you know what I mean? It's tough. It is tough. Aled, what about you?
Yeah, who's winning it? That running definitely favours City. I think when you consider you've got obviously Newcastle away, I think that one could be a tough one. But at the same time, the away trips, you kind of built that confidence, that license to believe you can go there and win and take the 3 points because you've got that obviously. That reputation's best away form in the league. I think I alluded to it before. So, look, at the end of the day, I think it could very well go down to goal difference. I think that result will be really significant in your season, whether you lose it by from that game, not obviously seeing it out, or obviously getting that point and stopping Liverpool, obviously taking all three. I think it could work both ways. I'd obviously want to see Arsenal win it. I just don't like Pep in it. I just don't like City, and it just kind of makes the league more interesting spectacle if you see another team win it. City obviously have been incredible last few years, absolute juggernauts at winning this league consistently. But I think at the same time, it'd be good to see someone else win it, obviously. But look, at the end of the day, I hope Arsenal can do it, but I'm not too sure. I think that draw could throw it. So could throw it slightly. I think if City win those games, but at the same time, you've also got to look at it from the deeper City go. It'll take it out of them going into like the league. It's all about that turnaround time as well. Yes, they've got the depth and that license to kind of recover quite quick and efficiently. But again, it's going to be testing, especially towards the back end.
Home or away?
Etihad.
That's the big thing.
I was about to say, if that's at the Emirates, you can bring the crowd and that because your crowd's improved as well, man. Like if you get a draw there,
that's what I'm saying.
You only need a draw, and it's like, it takes the sting out of it then. Because you've got that game out the way. You've got that game out the way.
And the scenario, and I'll paint the picture, because we play 2 games and City play 1, it puts even more pressure on that game for City to go and win. Of course, 100%. City can handle it, but yeah, man, if we go 2-0 up, if we go 2-0 up at City, right, and like how we did yesterday, I'm telling you now, City aren't dragging themselves back into that.
No.
Not the way Liverpool. Anfield's different, Anfield.
That crowd can create chaos.
That crowd is a 12 and 13, man.
But
it can create absolute chaos, man.
That's what I mean, because that one will be more of a tactical game. When that game turned into transitions against you, you win that. Like that's where you got the joy.
Tariq, if you go turn up to City, I would say, is that with Haaland and De Bruyne on the pitch still or not? Because
I hear what you're saying. The dangers that you have. What?
I know you say that
them crosses from De Bruyne are the most dangerous thing I've ever seen, brother.
Yeah, I get that, but I just feel that and being older and having seen this twice, well, 2-3 times, there's a sense of destiny about this team, and I think they feel it. This Arsenal side, there's a sense of destiny. There's a sense of like it's our time now to step up and go and do something. Whether they do or not is a different matter. But I feel in this dressing room, there's a sense of this is our destiny to do this. This is our time to write ourselves into the history books, and that's how we've been playing.
It's true. But I mean, City have done it from 2-0 behind, but that's against QPR and Aston Villa. Yeah. You guys have done it 3-0 behind against Barcelona. So do you know what I mean? There's a different heritage.
You've got a whole script written there, man, for the Etihad. If Jesus or Zinchenko gets the assist, oh my god, because Zinchenko won't be able to stop himself celebrating this geezer's and not jump off the heart.
I love him. Love him.
Hey man, listen, it's football, innit, bro? Take away the fact that rivalries aside and all that, bro. I love football first, and it's so it's gonna be interesting for us, man. It's no pressure on us. We just watch, bro. It's what it is.
We're just chilling.
We used to do that, man. I used to enjoy it. Yes. I mean, I want to be there one day. Now I don't want to be there because it's too much on the heart.
Pressure, bro. I'm telling you,
it's not good. I watched it with my daughter yesterday, and she doesn't usually watch live games with me, but even she was like, I mean, she's a Gooner from birth. Yeah. You know what I mean?
She has no choice.
Before birth. Yeah, from before birth. But even she was like, Dad, we can do this. And from my daughter saying that, and she's getting,
And I was the same with my mum as well. She was the same. But big up to everyone. It's been a good 2 hours. Thank you for everyone who stayed and tuned in. It's been a massive thank you to the panel as well. This was co-streamed on YouTube by me and Alid on Klopp Talk TV, and Ed and Ends. Sorry, he streamed it onto his channels as well. Thanks, StreamYard. You sorted us out there. We've been able to do that. Where you just invite guests and you can just click that button. But guys, we'll start off with you, man. The Liverpool fans. Hey, I think in the chat, the Arsenal fans have loved you as well. Phenomenal show, boys. Really enjoyed it and appreciate all your times and views. And the Liverpool 12, man, good show. Big up to the panel and to the Arsenal guests. Enjoy the trip to the Etihad and St James's Park, as the title will be determined there. And we got big up the panel. Brilliant show. We'll start off with you, my brother, man. Hugo. Let the people know where they can find you. Thank you for taking your time out again.
All right, man. It's love, bro. You already know the vibes. Yeah, man. Subscribe and all that. Hugo Online, Savage Talks Wrestling, Savage Talks Sport. Yeah, man. We got channels everywhere, bro. Yeah, I mean, you'll find me somewhere, bro. Yeah.
Exactly. Come on, big up Hugo. My brother Ends each and every time. Thank you for inviting me on your preview show as well, bro. And then even to chop it up afterwards, where the tensions were still high, the emotions at the end of the game. But nah, man, appreciate you for taking your time.
Hey, listen, man, brilliant show, man. Great panel. Appreciate you inviting me onto the show as well. In terms of my channel, bro, Endsman TV. Obviously, we chop up the Liverpool content, but we do a bit more than just Liverpool over there. There's a Q&A show. Loads of people love that one there, and we also have a quiz. And I'm thinking of bringing a few new ones. And then my other channel is called The Day After Podcast. That's the one we can kind of, you know what I mean, say certain things that we can't say over this side still.
Exactly.
Big up and appreciate you, invite.
If you're intrigued to find out, go check it out, people.
Yeah.
My brother Wilf on the Arsenal side, the Don of South London. Thank you once again. You do the show usually on a Monday, and thank you for taking your time out again, brother.
It's as always, it's a pleasure. And to Aled, I've been on with before, and that was wicked. But being on with the Endsman and Hugo, and I've loved this show, and much appreciation to the boys for stepping in. You'll find me in the Discord, on Twitter, Trey_dog66, and looking forward to the next one, man.
There you go. And because we've got plenty of Liverpool fans in here as well from Enz's channel, go check out my brother Aled. Let the people know where they can find you when you got coming up as well.
No, I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate Tariq. I mean, this show was kind of in the works. Well, when we were looking at the fixtures, we kind of like looking at this fixture, but I appreciate it as well. Big up to Hugo, Wilf, and Enz as well. Brilliant talking points, and a lot of footballing knowledge off you guys, and just really honoured to be on here, boys, honestly. But I appreciate the chat each and every time. Klopp Talk is where to find me. Obviously, it's been streamed on there as well. So I appreciate each and every time, and big up to my Tariq as well, my big bro.
Exactly, man.
Appreciate it. It's a pleasure every time.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, and everyone else. You can find me at Tariq Talks. Arsenal have got a tough end to the season where my emotions will be doing that, like how it was yesterday. If you want to have a look, check out the end part of Enz's channel. I was getting Larry. I was just trying to defend my club. I'm out here making points, but it was hard. It was tough. But you want to see more of that? Check it out on Tariq Talks. We've got a preview show on Fridays. So me and my bro Ed, and we do a great chat there. He's a Wolves fan, but he calms me down. He keeps me calm at times. So yeah, we'll be here for the rest of the season. So check it out, guys. And we'll also do non-Arsenal watch-alongs. We will do plenty of that. And for those who haven't seen it, we do a show called Life. We haven't done it for a while, where we're going to discuss me and my bro Rich from Eagle Eye Football, where we discuss our personal lives that we're growing up, surrounded by different topics. That will be here at the end of the season. So, guys, you'll be able to get to know us then a little bit more. And we have like an after calling show where we just discuss different topics that we've gone through and some of the hot topics that are currently around today too. So, yeah, man, it'd be a good debate and good things to talk about, because I've seen Hugo and Enz discuss plenty on their channel, and I love it. And even when I've not been able to tune in live, I check it out afterwards, and it's good, man. The Q&A shows and stuff, yeah, good topics. But guys, appreciate you all. We're gonna love and leave you. Arsenal 2, Liverpool 2. We fight on, and enjoy the rest of your week. I'm losing my words. You see what I'm saying? The game took it out of me. Take care, bro.
Peace.